Better believe it. Hate or love it, the underdog's on top, and I'm not going to stop until my heart stops, which doesn't make sense. I don't know if that's my microphone or my throat. Either way, it is. I don't know what that sound is. It's not me. It's the microphone.
I think you sound fine. Just go, and you'll be ready to go on this What is Red Friday here in New Orleans, Louisiana.
National Wear Red Day today.
How about that? What are the odds? Today is National
up.
Wear Red Day. We don't make it up. We look at the National Day calendar, and the Friday before the Super Bowl where the Chiefs are getting ready to three-peat is National Wear Red Day? You got to be kidding me.
And you have a brand new shirt.
Got a brand new shirt. Got this one last night. Can you see it? You got to fight for your right to three-peat, baby. You got to fight for your right to three-peat, and that's what we're doing today.
Stole it right out of Pat Riley's closet.
Yeah, that is true. I did do that, didn't I? Yeah, Pat Riley's going to make $180 million off the Super Bowl if the Chiefs three-peat. Can you believe that? Who wins the Super Bowl? Pat Riley wins the Super Bowl if the Chiefs win.
Well, if the Chiefs win.
Yep.
Which they should. We don't have any doubt. We have all full belief that the Chiefs will win. It is a last Red Friday of the year. It is the Friday before the big game or the Friday before the Super Bowl. Fescoe, Dusty, and Mac here live from Radio Row from One Last Day, and we are broadcasting live from Radio Row in New Orleans thanks to our friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. Nathan, you ready to fire this place up, ready to fire that crowd up, all those listeners driving to work that hate to go to work today? Play that Frank Clark audio.
How about that today, man? What's going through your mind right now?
Nah, I'm a champion. That's all that matters. You know, I said it a few days.
Ooh, sorry, guys. The queue would not clear, but we're going now.
Put a mindset in our whole defense that we weren't going to let them run the ball on us. We knew the only way they was going to win the game was run the ball. The quarterback not good enough to win the game passing, and we exposed all that. Anytime you run for 80 yards, you call yourself the leading running back. They call themselves, they hype Henry up and do all this for him, man. Say what they're going to do to us. Say we the 26th ranked defense in the league. And all we do is continue to prove to them who the baddest planet are.
You shut him down today. How did you guys do that?
Because we the baddest in the planet.
Now you got one more in you to win it for Andy. How important is it to win for Andy?
It's more important to win that for our owner, Clark Hunt Trophy. We're going to win it for, I said more important. Sorry, scratch that.
I got what you mean, man.
Man, it's more important just for us as a team. Not just for Andy as a coach, no disrespect, but for the team. All that matters is the team, and that's all we've been thriving on all season is the team. Team first, everything else second.
And you were hurt, man, like the beginning of the year, week 11, you finally get healthy and get out here. How much of it is like redemption for you to go, I knew I could go out there and play like that?
Because I know I am. I know what I'm capable of doing. At the end of the day, I told him. After week 6, I told him what was going on with my body. My body was breaking down. I didn't know what was going on, you know. You just pray everything goes right. You know, I go out, get checked by doctors. My doctors tell me I shouldn't even play for the rest of the season. They tell me I need to get surgery, stop playing before I hurt something, you know, down the road for a longer term. At the end of the day, man, I trusted my doctors here at the Chiefs. I trusted everything they was telling me. Like I said, Rick Burkhardt, the greatest staff on the planet. They told me I was able to do it. I trusted them. Man, they put me on a great plan, and I come out here and I finish probably, some would say one of the best second halves of the season you can ever play in 10 games.
I asked Ty the same thing. I'll ask you again. How good's that quarterback, man?
You said Pat Mahomes?
Yeah.
MVP Pat? You said the illest motherfucker, Pat Mahomes? Come on, man. Pat, we trust. Like I said from day one, when Pat Mahomes your quarterback, you don't have no worries, no fears, no doubt. As a defense, all you got to do is step up on your own and win the game. Pat Mahomes, man, what's his quarterback rating? What was it, 365 yards rushing, 300 yards passing? That's 365 yards.
10 seconds.
Quarterback rating, no interceptions. I think 3 or 4 touchdowns. Come on, man. I drop every stat for Pat Mahomes if I have to. Pat Mahomes is the greatest quarterback in the world. Don't add me.
There it is, Frank Clark with
That's
me
right.
after beating the Tennessee Titans in the first AFC Championship game, and I just thought that was pretty apropos to bring to the table today because going into that game all week long, we were told they couldn't stop Derrick Henry, and the topic of conversation all effing week in New Orleans was we can't stop Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's going to run,
right.
And that was Frank Clark right there telling you the Chiefs on that day were the baddest mother effers on planet Earth. And you know what's going to happen on Sunday? They're going to be the baddest mother effers on planet Earth, and Saquon Barkley's going to be stopped just like they stopped Derrick Henry back in 2020.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Every day we come through here and we get louder and louder with our Chiefs gear. Today, jersey of Patrick Mahomes. Today, you have the three-peat shirt. Mac has the red polo and all the beads. It looks like he's collected 15 different pair of, you know what, almost did it on the air. But
Right.
the thing is like, today we walked in, the guy's like, hey, I just want to let you know the Chiefs aren't winning on Sunday. I said, oh, okay. Why do you think that? I don't know. I just think it's Saquon's time. I go, that's awesome.
Spectre was at the door?
And then he goes, I can't respect a quarterback who puts ketchup on everything.
Okay.
So I said, oh, that's your one thing. I said, that's cute. I said, good luck on Sunday afternoon. He goes, why? He goes, I said, Monday's going to suck if you really think that Saquon Barkley and the Eagles are going to win. I just don't think when you see this team like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I don't know why you can. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you are, but I don't know what you would be thinking to go against them. Every single year, outside of one, they've won the Super Bowl. The one year they didn't, they were completely beaten up on the offensive line. The protector factor of Patrick Mahomes. This Chiefs team going into this game is healthy as they can possibly be. In fact, the only person not being able to play, two, I guess, McCole Hardman and Rashee Rice. Obviously, Rashee Rice goes out in Week 4. Can't do anything about that with the leg injury that took him out the rest of the season. But everybody else back, everybody else healthy. This is Friday. The game is Sunday. We have one more sleep. I guess 2 more sleeps until this game gets played. And look, I walk around yesterday. I listened to all the national media. So I listened to Pat McAfee and Greeny's on there. And he's talking about how Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown a turnover. He's only thrown 3 turnovers since like Week 5. Patrick Mahomes hasn't had a turnover since Week 11. The Chiefs haven't turned the ball over in the playoffs. The Chiefs have a winning streak in the playoffs. The rookies that played on this team 2 years ago have yet to lose in the playoffs. They play the Eagles, who I think will be a little numb, who I think will be a little shocked. We heard yesterday at their press conference, they were a little, yeah, all right. Their PR staff is getting really cranky and really angry. Normally it's ours. It gets them a little bit in and out. It was the Chiefs people, the Chiefs players that were all cool, calm, and collected that were like, yeah, it's fine. We'll do this. It'll be okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We'll see you on Sunday. How you doing? We're going for a Super Bowl. We're going for a three-peat. Chiefs over the Eagles by 35-17.
Yeah, well, it's to me, it's when you sit back and you kind of assess this entire game. And if you're still thinking that Philadelphia is going to win this game, A, you just don't want to see the Kansas City Chiefs win, so you're trying to create reasons why the Chiefs can't win this football game. Or number 2, you're just dense and you don't understand what this team has been through over the last couple of years. To me, everybody should be thinking that the Chiefs are going to win this football game. And if the Philadelphia Eagles win, it should be looked at as a major upset in the NFL. I know it's only 1.5. I don't care. The Chiefs, in my opinion, are the favorite going into this game. They have everything to play for. They have everything to lose, quite frankly, in this game. Philadelphia should be coming into this game playing free and clear. They don't have anything to lose. They've got everything to gain in this football game. But that's not the way it's going to be played. It's going to be played like the Kansas City Chiefs play every playoff game. They're going to be the ones that are playing free and relaxed and clear and easy to go because they've been there. They have that mindset. They've won 2 in a row. They're a veteran team. They got the coolest MFer playing quarterback that's ever played this side of Joe Montana. They got the best head coach in the NFL standing on the sidelines that's cool, calm, and collected. And just talking to players over the last couple of days, former players, current players that have been in the National Football League and are in the National Football League, they all talk about the calmness of Andy Reid, and that's why he's so good. So if the Chiefs get down 7-0 early, there's no panic. There's no freak out. There's no, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Philadelphia Eagles fall down by 2 scores early on in this game. Nick Sirianni's yelling at Eagle fans. He's punching Big Dom. He's trying to do things that he's not capable of doing. He'll get out of himself, and that will ultimately end up costing the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. I can't wait for this game to get played. I can't wait to smack them in the face. I can't wait to see Saquon Barkley held down and not be able to do the damage that everybody thinks he's going to be able to do, because when you doubt the Chiefs, as Mitch Holthus says, you're a fool. I know he doesn't say it quite like that, but it's pretty much what Mitch Holthus says. You can doubt the Chiefs, you can disrespect the Chiefs, but you do have to deal with the Chiefs, and you got to deal with the Chiefs winning a 3rd Super Bowl. You got to deal with Red Friday, National Wear Red Day. We're coming for you, Philadelphia. We're kicking that Saquon Barkley ass, and we're doing it on Sunday at the Superdome.
Szechuan broccoli.
That's right.
That's what Hugh Douglas calls him. He did it 3 times yesterday when he did like
Oh,
live hits on
he's
TV.
doing it all over the country. Szechuan broccoli is
That's
what
right.
he's saying. Yes.
No, loaded show today. Dan Orlovsky, Dianna Russini, maybe John Gruden. We've got Brian Baldinger. We've got many others. Greg Olsen, all joining us today here on Radio Row. So don't forget, Dusty, everyone wants to know, have you met your future wife, Kay Adams, yet? If not, the trip is a fail. We're working on it. We got 1 day left. But she's hard. She's hard to get a hold of. She goes back in her little tent. She's private. It's tough to get a hold of her. You can ask Max. She's very private. And I'm not a creep. I'm not Radiohead. I'm not getting out my Shazam and making it sound like a squirrel like one Bob Fescoe did and thought there were squirrels in the gutters. But I'll tell you this, Sunday can't get here soon enough. I'm tired of it. I hate it. All these little fools that work out of the front. This guy was 37 years old, still had earrings, ain't done. Trying to tell me that the Eagles are going to win because Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on everything. That's where we're at.
That's right.
That's where we're at. By the way, folks, that's where we're at in Philadelphia. They hate the Chiefs because they put ketchup on everything. They got nothing else. The refs have ran its course. The voice of Mahomes has ran its course. Taylor Swift being annoying to them has ran its course. Now they don't like the Chiefs because their quarterback puts ketchup on everything. Very lame, very sick excuse. Yeah. Guy's still wearing earrings. You should like somebody else. Wanted to pop him in the side of the head, but I couldn't do that or I'd never make it in. Dog had to sit in my bag, make sure there weren't any drugs in it. There weren't. We're here, that's why. But I'm tired of the hate. I'm tired of the BS sort of hate. Like, give me some sort of reason. Give me something.
Well, when you're as good as the
Denver,
Chiefs are, there's nothing
Oakland.
you can do. There's nothing you can do. That's why it's come down to Taylor Swift, ketchup, and whatever else people are using
Kermit
for the reason.
Frog voice.
Because there's nothing else that you can say about this team. They don't do anything wrong. There's no scandal. They do everything right. And it's they're the coolest guy at school that's nice to everybody, and you hate him because you think you got to hate him. But at the end of the day, you just hate him because you're jealous, and you're not there, and you never will be. And that's ultimately what this comes down to. The entire world just looks at the Chiefs and goes, damn, they're the coolest kid at school that's nice to everybody, that gets the girl, that's friends with the nerds, that's friends with the cool kids, that makes everybody come together and love the world.
What?
And damn, I'm telling you what, man, there's no reason that we can't sit here and root for the Kansas City Chiefs. I have no idea half the stuff you said either. We're all fired up on a Red Friday. So let's get this thing moving. Let's get this thing going forward, and let's kick some Philadelphia ass.
Thanks, Coach, from the text line 660. Mahomes fumbled last week.
Thank you.
They didn't play last week. How you doing? 660. Happy Red Friday. After this, we get back live on Radio Row, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. We'll have Brian Baldinger join the show. Plus, something why I don't think Mahomes can catch Brady this year, even with the 3P, because records and standings all have to play, but Mahomes has time on his side. You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan. You're home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty.
You're clear.
you need them. The
Tom Brady. 3 is a significant number. If it was 1, if it was 2, maybe I'd have the conversation. It's 3, okay? Not only that, Tom Brady played till he was 45. Mahomes is 29. So all of this conversation is fine to have, but you have nothing but time to support Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to hang it up early. I'm going to, I've had my fun. I'm going to retire at 33, 34. I don't see that to be true for Patrick Mahomes. The other thing that's interesting is Mac and I were sitting together last night and kind of throwing some stuff around. You know how many losing seasons Tom Brady had in his entire career?
I think 2.
1. You know
Okay.
what time it was? His last season when he was 45 years old. He went 8-9 with the Bucs. How many losing seasons do you think Patrick Mahomes will have?
I'm going to say none. I really am. I mean, I think what we've seen out of Patrick Mahomes and the drive that Patrick Mahomes has, and the reason I say none is because you just brought up 1, and now Patrick heard that and goes, oh, Tom Brady only had 1 losing season.
And it was when
I'm
he was
not going to have 1.
and the end of his years.
In his last year in his career. So Patrick Mahomes is very aware of history, very aware of the records, very aware of everything around him. And I'm sure, obviously, he's been very aware of this, and it's probably one of those things, that's on his ledger to kind of make him the best of all time. I wish we had a video camera of whatever's going on in front of me right now, because I've never seen a child do whatever this child is doing in front of us right now, and it's Mac doing some weird stretches that, needs to be on camera. Carlos, can we turn the camera to get on Mac here stretching? Please continue to stretch, and we're going to put it on camera for everybody to see, because it's really, really strange as to what you're doing this morning here on Radio
Even
Row,
the guys
right?
over on the Dallas side are like, what the hell's going on in Kansas City?
What is this guy doing
Gotta
over
get loose,
here, right?
man.
Yeah, for what? To sit? I mean,
Yeah, what do you got to get loose for?
you're putting your derriere in the face of these guys over here.
I got
lucky them.
I got to rip some takes, Bob.
Yeah, he did. He said, I've been
spout some
quiet
takes.
this week. I got to rip takes. But no, Patrick Mahomes is
believe
aware of
it.
everything that is going on around him. And we've been kind of having the conversation all week, greatest of all time, not greatest of all time. And one of our friends, John Stoner, brought it up to me and said, look, he goes, everybody talks about the amount of rings, not the three-peat or anything like that. Ask folks if they think Bill Russell is the greatest NBA player of all time. He has the most rings, right? You can debate that all you want. I just think, in my opinion, doing so, and look, I know Tom Brady has done stuff that's never been done before, but Patrick Mahomes is really going to do something that's never been done before, and that's why I put him above with the three-peat.
And again, please stop, people. So Bill Russell is better than LeBron because you had 8 rings.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
LeBron's 4 aren't the end-all, be-all. Again, it's not just about the rings. Tom Brady had 1 losing season after he was 45. Tom Brady played till he was 45. Let Mahomes play a little bit more. I'm not saying that Mahomes cannot be the GOAT. I'm just saying winning a three-peat doesn't catapult him above Tom Brady. Tom Brady had the passing records. He has touchdown records. He has longevity. Patrick Mahomes is 29. If anything, the better topic should be winning a three-peat should tell Tom Brady just in general, I'm cooked in a few years. By the time this kid is 35, I am no longer going to be the best. I'm telling you that I believe that Patrick Mahomes, in 11 years after this year, if he wins a third in a row, I think that he could probably win 2 or maybe 3 at least in the next 11 years of his career. If he never wins another one, but he wins all these records and he surpasses Tom and all these records and never has a losing season, then yes, I would consider him being better than Tom Brady, but not right now. Not right now. Just enjoy this time and know that your quarterback and your team is the best team in the history of football.
Yep.
I'll give you the team category, but I'm not going to give you the individual because the individual's got so much more time in his career, and that to me is the scariest factor.
I just want to see what's going to happen on Sunday night when the Chiefs do win and how the narrative just continues to be pushed, even when it comes to the team aspect of things. Because I do believe it's not just Patrick Mahomes. I do believe that if they three-peat, they do become the best dynasty, the best team, if you will, of all time because of that three-peat. But I don't know that people are going to allow that to happen, right? The New England narrative
LeBron
continues.
is still not better than Jordan because he doesn't have the rings.
Well, yeah, and I think Jordan ultimately had 2 three-peats in there, right?
Yeah, Jordan was better.
Jordan was better than LeBron. I mean, I don't think anybody would ultimately debate that, but it's also a generational thing too, right? Like people who are my parents' age and your parents' age may think that just for argument's sake, maybe Bill Russell's the greatest of our time. My generation will always say Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, and I'm sure Mac's generation will die on the LeBron hill, and that's the way it kind of should be. Your generation supports and loves up the players that you saw and the players that you witnessed as a kid. That's when you really become that sports fan. That's when you create your allegiances. That's when you create your mindset of who's the best and who you love. And it's really hard to change all that stuff, as we know. And so that's kind of where we are. And obviously Tom Brady's my generation, but Patrick Mahomes is also my generation. And I always believe, and so is Joe Montana, my generation. But I think it's safe to say Brady and Mahomes have both passed Joe Montana when it comes to that greatness category. There are only 3 that you can put in that category. 2 will be in the Superdome on Sunday, and 1 has been walking around Radio Row all week doing those interviews. So I think when you look at the situation involving the Chiefs, they go down as the greatest dynasty of all time with a win on Sunday. But I wonder if people will allow them to be that greatest dynasty of all time, because the Patriot thing is still so fresh and so new and so recent in people's minds. I think folks are going to have a hard time going, wow, we're already moving somebody ahead of the New England Patriots. And I think, yeah, that has to be the case. You had the Steelers, you had the Cowboys, you had the 49ers, you had the Patriots, and now you have the Kansas City Chiefs. And you have to accept them as that great dynasty when they win on Sunday afternoon. It will be very interesting to see the debates on Monday and stuff that people are saying after the game, if they are willing to say, yeah, this is now the greatest dynasty of all time.
Yeah, I think that's the take. I think it's unfair to Mahomes to be like, you're now better than Tom Brady. You're not. Like, I'm wearing a Mahomes jersey. I'm a Chiefs fan. I grew up in Kansas City. It's fine to say that. It's okay. Just let the guy keep playing. And then all of a sudden, like, I will say this. Mahomes wins on Sunday. There's no doubt in my mind, Tom Brady, like you had mentioned a couple times, will be there announcing it off the record or off the mic, would probably be like, he's going to get me, isn't he? And Joe Buck's going to look over, not Joe Buck, but whoever.
Kevin Burkhardt.
Kevin Burkhardt's going to look over and go, yeah, it's coming faster than you thought.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I didn't think. He goes, I thought when I beat him with Tampa Bay, he'd never have this conversation. We'd never get there. The best part about him winning 3-peat is we get to take the lid off that conversation jar and rehash it, because for a while, or for after that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, everybody goes, all right, that's it. He'll never catch him unless he somehow wins 3 in a row. Here we are.
At least Joe Montana had 30 years to enjoy being the greatest of all time before Tom Brady came in from the top rope and pile-drived his ass into history. And now, as soon as Tom Brady retires, here it is, Patrick Mahomes getting ready to pile-drive him into history. Like, Joe Montana had years. Like, there was no debate for a generation that Joe Montana was the greatest of all time. Nobody would touch that argument. Then the Tom Brady thing happened. And, all right, Tom Brady's the greatest of all time for 5 seconds, because here comes Patrick Mahomes from the top rope again, ready to send Tom Brady's career into oblivion, and people will be talking about Tom Brady like it was Joe Montana 35 years ago.
Yeah, no wonder Boston fans are butthurt. They didn't get to really live in this moment of having the GOAT athlete. It lasted 2 seconds, and sorry, the torch has already been passed.
And the Bill Russell thing, they had the GOAT in basketball, obviously, in Boston for a little bit with Bill Russell, but it wasn't the day and age of which sports is today. And then Michael Jordan comes on the scene. Nobody knows who the hell Bill Russell was, and that's fine. He was played in the 60s. Nobody cares about that anymore.
Best player in their franchise's history during Michael Jordan's career.
I mean, seriously, when you think about it, too, Larry Bird, but Magic Johnson, like, how many people were stymied from winning championships? Patrick Ewing and Isaiah Thomas, a lot of these guys.
Bill Nicholson.
I mean, all of these guys were stymied because of Michael Jordan. How many careers and how many champions are being stymied because of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, that's something that you have to look at as well. Like, the Chiefs just aren't winning. They're preventing Buffalo from winning. They're preventing Josh Allen from winning. They're preventing Joe Burrow from winning. They're preventing
not the
NFC
MVP
teams from winning.
Burrow and Allen won awards last night.
Oh, good for them. I don't care. That's great. They're not here. Maybe they were here.
Player of the year, Joe Burrow.
Coming back player of the year. Great.
For
That's
what?
fantastic.
What did he come back from?
I don't know. An injury? Was he hurt? Was last year the year that he was
hurt last
year?
year?
For like 6 games?
Yeah.
Just like,
Well, I mean.
What's he coming back from?
I have no idea. Injury for 6 games? Fine. Whatever. He's not here at the Super Bowl.
I'm seriously asking, what did he come back from?
He was out for 6 games, I guess.
I
don't know. Who else is going to get comeback player of the year?
So
Could have been Sam Darnold,
so Isaiah
I guess.
Pacheco's going to win it next year, or Rashee Rice is going to win it next year?
No, because they played at the end of the season. Rashee Rice could win it next year. Absolutely,
Rashee
Rice could win it next year.
1,000 yards, mark it, book it,
Yeah,
send it to
Rashee
the
Rice.
bank.
Yeah, Rashee Rice puts on a good show next year. But who the hell cares about those awards? I mean, they're minuscule. They're meaningless. They don't matter, because what matters is what's going to happen on Sunday, and none of those people are participating in what's going to happen on Sunday. And so that's what's happening with Patrick Mahomes. He's preventing so many other players from getting their opportunity to win championships. Tom Brady had 10 years where he allowed Eli to get a couple of championships.
Who
Joe
didn't make the
Flacco.
Hall of Fame, by
I
the
know,
way.
only 4 guys got into the Hall of Fame.
Allen.
Jared Allen and 3 others. Yeah, congratulations to whoever made it in to the Hall of Fame. Torrey Holt Holtz not getting into the Hall of Fame again, that's a scam. That is an absolute scam that Torrey Holtz not in the Hall of Fame. It's embarrassing from that standpoint. But, yeah, congratulations to Jared Allen on getting in. I think that's really cool. Another member of the Chiefs organization.
I love the thanks coach people. I said, does he go in as a Viking or a Chief? That ain't how it works, dog. Dish football was the response I got.
Yeah, you don't go in as anybody in
Sorry
in the NFL.
to have a conversation.
Just have a bust up there, and they list all your teams. Baseball, they choose the cap for you, but
Do you
in
think
football,
you would go in as a Chief or a Viking?
I don't know. I have no idea because it's not a topic, I guess. So I don't know. But I think probably Viking because he played there longer, I would guess.
Yeah, he had the 22 sack season there.
Yeah,
that's where I'd go.
I mean, yeah, probably a Viking, I'd have to say. But, yeah, he's still a member of the Chiefs. So that's cool because everybody that played for you goes in and your name is recognized with the teams that you played for. So I do like that a lot. But here we sit because Patrick Mahomes, again, to kind of get back to this thing, he's preventing so many other people from winning championships and even having the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl because that's how good he's been. 7 straight AFC championship games, 4 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. Magical numbers that Mahomes is putting up.
We are broadcasting live from Radio Row in New Orleans. Thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. It's easy to drink. It's easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. And our guests are also brought to you by Bud Light as well, the official sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Going for their three-peat, we are now joined by Brian Baldinger. And Brian Baldinger, who sits down with us, I will say this. How the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. For me, this is my finish line. We all start.
You're clear.
You're out there at training camp. I'm at training camp. And here it is. I felt like I've worked just about every day, except for the last 3 days I was in Costa Rica. But anyways.
Must be nice.
I had to get it.
How do you go to Costa Rica during Super Bowl week? It's like coaching a basketball team and being on Radio Row.
I was in Mobile going, I need a break. So, there's nothing going on. I saw the guys at the Senior Bowl.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't need to watch it.
Right.
Let's go do some surfing and some fishing and some diving and just freshen up for this event.
What do the Chiefs do for you?
What do the Chiefs do for me? I love the Chiefs. My brother played for both my brothers played for the Chiefs. I know Andy Reid since the day he signed in Philly. I was at his opening press conference, met him that day. Did a lot of games at Fox when Andy was at Philly. I felt like I've known Andy. I did the Eagles preseason games back when Andy was there. So I feel a connection to both organizations. But, it's hard not to be a super fan of Patrick, but Creed, Trey, Chris Jones, pick a guy, Karlaftis. I mean, they're just good guys. They're great players, good guys. I coached. I did games over in NFL Europe when Spags was coaching in Frankfurt. I knew Spags before anybody else knew Spags. When he was out of football for a year, he spent every Monday. His wife, he was living in Philly. I'd come over to NFL Films every Monday. I still have his Cover 3, glossy thing on a whiteboard over there.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to love everything about what Kansas City stands for.
Well, let's get that offensive line conversation going because I know how big you are, obviously, looking at the big guys down below there, right? Everybody's talking about Jalen Carter, and I said the other day on the show, I'm like, Trey Smith's going to have something to say about this. He's about to be the highest-paid guard probably this offseason for somebody. I want you to tell me why you think Trey Smith can win that matchup against Jalen Carter.
Well, first of all, he's built for it. Physically, he's built for it. He's the alpha dog up front on that offensive line, has been since the day he got there. Physically, I think they've already played against each other last year. Not a lot. Jalen was more on the other side against, on the left guard. But I just think that if you want to send Creed over there to help out, fine. But if they got to slide the protection the other way because that's what it's called for, I know Trey can handle it. He's got a howitzer for a right hand. Patrick Mahomes told me that literally his rookie year. During training camp, he told me that. And he's delivered. So he likes to finish what he starts. And he knows what Jalen Carter is and how physically strong he is and gifted. But that's a good matchup. I would pay StubHub prices, inflated StubHub prices, just to watch that matchup. If you could do what they do, in Premier League soccer and watch a picture-in-picture of those two going at it, I would do it. And Jalen Carter plays, I believe, more snaps than anybody else at defense tackle in this league. So you're going to see a whole lot of it right there.
So let's talk about the guys in the red. They got a pretty good running back in Saquon Barkley. How do you stop Saquon Barkley if you're the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, you can't let him get started, number one. That's pretty obvious. I think that you'll see all 3 linebackers out there a lot, Drew and Nick and Leo. And you'll see Reed up front. You'll see some level of a 4-4 box. What they did to Baltimore in the AFC Championship game, what they did to Baltimore in the opening game of the season. You're going to see those big linebackers out there just attacking the line of scrimmage, whether it's run blitzes or whatever. So, I mean, that's sort of the foundation to not let him get started. And, the big runs are there if you give him enough opportunities. And so you want to sort of take those away from him.
Looking at the quarterback matchup obviously favors Patrick Mahomes. It does in every game that Patrick Mahomes plays in. And I've been asking people all week, and I'm surprised at how much resistance I'm getting to this one, though. I think he's the greatest if he three-peats. What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's Tom Brady out there, and it's hard to say that he's Tom Brady at this point. But, he's only 8 years into this thing, and there's no slowing down.
Right.
So I don't know, but, you three-peat, you've already created a legacy. Nobody has ever done that.
Right.
So you've already got a legacy that's different than Tom Brady. And so you three-peat this thing, and immediately, they're going to go – somebody's going to go print four-peat, and get the license on that thing if they win this on Sunday. They're going to talk about it up there on the stage. So Terry Bradshaw is going to ask them about it if they win. So I feel like Patrick has done it differently than Tom Brady. He's a lot more mobile, and he's done it with a lot different – I think a cast that's a little bit different than what Brady did in the way that he did it. But I feel like his legacy is going to be unique no matter what happens.
It seems like no matter what they do, though, people are going to continue to push the bar and continue to try to say it's not quite New England yet. Like, in your mind, what do they have to do to become the greatest dynasty?
Well, this would be a start. Winning Sunday is really where it starts. You take care of business this Sunday, and you're at 5 Super Bowls in 4 years and three-peat and all that kind of stuff. You're right there. So they've got a dynasty right now as it is. And here they are, AFC Championship games, 8 in a row, division championships. You're doing something that nobody might ever do again. This might be just painting a masterpiece that nobody might ever duplicate. So they look like they're having just the same amount of fun doing it.
Yeah. Speaking of a masterpiece, you're the lineman expertise here. How impressive is it to watch Joe Thuney go from left guard to left tackle and be elite at left tackle and keep the line moving, no pun intended?
Look, his first matchup was against Myles Garrett.
That's right.
And in Cleveland, on the road in Cleveland. And he pitched a shutout. It's like I've been that guy where I had to go from guard to tackle, and I look like a guard playing tackle the way Joe does. But it just goes to show you the level of technician that he is. Because you can't do what he's doing without being the ultimate technician. You got to change your sets. You got to change your stance. You got to do things differently than what you did at left guard. And there's a comfort level that probably isn't there that he had at left guard. Creed next to him. But it was the best thing for the team. So I have the ultimate respect for him. And he's going to see good pass rushers out there on Sunday, starting with Josh Sweat. So he's going to get challenged. They don't generally give – Andy is always like getting 5 receivers out. They generally don't like to chip and help and things that – so he stood tall out there. And it's been it's been really impressive. And I know that the offensive line doesn't get enough credit, but I got to believe that Pat Mahomes knows just how valuable he's been.
And really, what's more impressive, that move or the fact that he's the 5th left tackle this year and the Chiefs went 15-1 with their starters?
Well, but they have a lot fewer sacks, a lot fewer penalties than the other guys that were out there.
Right.
And so they gave everybody a good long chance.
Yes, they did.
And at some point you just go, this is not helping the offense. The penalties, putting us in bad situations, we got to fix this. And so it was the last resort.
Let us know how you think this game can be played out. I know that there's ties and there's legacy, greatness. There's a three-peat on the line. What does Brian Baldinger, who joins us here on Fescoe and Dusty, think about this game?
Well, I said, and no offense to all of my good friends in Kansas City.
That means you're about to offend us.
Well, yeah, but I said from the start of the playoffs, I thought the Eagles would go 4-0 in the playoffs. Now, I didn't know that they were going to see Kansas City. Probably a good chance that, they were going to be there, but who knows. But I thought they were the best team in football. In the trenches, I thought they were the best team, start to finish, and they just got better and better in the trenches. And so, and then you see the evolution of Saquon in this offense and running it 725 times. I'm a fan of teams that run it 725 times in a season. Only 2 other teams have done that. So I'm a fan of that type of football. So you turn it over a lot less. Jalen Hurts is taking care of the football. We'll see what happens. they can't really fall behind and maintain that style of football.
10 seconds.
But I feel like that's the direction this game is going.
All right. Well, we appreciate the time, Brian Baldinger, who joins us here on Fescoe and Dusty. Take care, man, and enjoy the big game. Thank you.
Brian Baldinger with us here on Fescoe and Dusty, and I looked at Mac as Baldy was saying that they ran the ball 725 times. I go, that just screams the Philadelphia Eagles are going to try to throw the football, right? That's the head coach who is kind of new on the scene, isn't Andy Reid? You ran it for 725 yards. You think, oh my God, they're going to try to stack the box against the run. Let's throw the football, and then you get in trouble throwing the football, and it doesn't spell a victory for Philadelphia.
And that was Brian Baldinger, and all our guests are brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City is gearing up for their third straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during this historic run. Coming up on the other side, Dianna Russini will join us. Plus, you can also join us and watch the show on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, presented by our partners at Technology Group Solutions, the official IT provider on your Kansas City Chiefs, or of your Kansas City Chiefs. But coming up next, Dianna Russini of NFL Network will sit down and join us, Fescoe and Bob, Dusty, Fescoe, and Mac, here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to
Kansas City holds on downs again. Nick Bolton scrapes to the outside and makes the hit. And Kansas City defensively holds on downs. 4th down at the 6 and now the 13.
Okay, we are live, broadcasting from Radio Row here in New Orleans. Thanks to our friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Drink responsibly. Don't forget, at 7:45, you have a chance to be the final qualifier for a $500 Hy-Vee gift card giveaway. So you'll want to listen to the quote or the clip that Nathan will play at 7:45, and then guess that year. And then there will be a drawing, and you and 4 other people who have qualified for that will win $500 to Hy-Vee. But it is the last Red Friday of the year. It is National Wear Red Day. And we are the final day here, live at Radio Row. Been a hell of a week. Been a lot of fun. Been a great time to engage with you guys here in Louisiana, back home in Kansas City. We're ready to get home, but before we do that, we got a pretty big game to play on Sunday.
Pretty big one, yes. The biggest game that we have ever seen in the history of games. And I'm not over-exaggerating that because of what is at stake with the Chiefs, what's at stake with the Eagles, what's at stake for history, what's at stake for the NFL. And, you know, it is the biggest Super Bowl, I believe, that we've ever seen because history has never been on the line like it's going to be on Sunday afternoon down at the Superdome.
So, again, thanks to our friends at Bud Light for being the sponsor, and all of our guests for that are brought to you by Bud Light. Again, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. And now sitting down with us and joining us is the wonderful Dianna Russini. And Dianna, New Orleans, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not sharing the philosophy I had about New Orleans, which is you don't have to chase the fun here.
No.
Right.
You're clear.
You come to these events and everyone is trying to find out where the big parties are, where the DJs are playing, what the live bands are. In New Orleans, just walk across the street. You know, it's everywhere. Yep. And, you know, I've covered, this is my 11th Super Bowl, and this is easily my favorite city for the food, the logistics, and it's picking up now. You know, we know it's Thursday, but this thing isn't yet moving.
It really is, and it is the best Super Bowl city. I've done Miami, I've done New Orleans. There was that run of Houston and Jacksonville that kind of stunk up the joint in Detroit and places like that in the early 2000s, but this is the best place to do the Super Bowl. And I don't care what anybody else wants to say, try to debate it. Nothing's better than New Orleans.
I've been trying to do a decent job, I think, of explaining to people who aren't here, because I've had family members texting me, like, you keep saying how great New Orleans is. Why? What is it? And I said, it's just all of it. It's like, my analogy is like when you go to a good restaurant and the food just blows you away and you're like, this is just the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
That's how I feel about this experience. This is the way it's supposed to be when you're at a Super Bowl, with the energy, the culture, and the vibe.
We talked the other night about how we want to see greatness and how you just want people to shut up and beat them if you have a problem with them. Still the same theory, still the same kind of vibe, the attitude with that when it comes to the Chiefs and the national narrative?
I can't stand it. It bothers me so much when I see coaches and players talking about it and just making these little theories, or people on Twitter that this is the only reason why Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have success. You just can't beat them. Find a way.
Right.
I had Fred Warner, the great Fred Warner, on the show today, and I asked him to give me the defensive game plan to stop this Chiefs offense. And he struggled a bit. And, you know, Fred's smart. And he's thought about it before. He's had to. And he's like, the priority is always to contain Patrick and not let him win the game. But he just does it. And, you know, listening to him share that, I just wonder what the Eagles have up their sleeve here to try to figure out a way to stop them.
It's interesting you say that, because on Monday at Media Day, I asked C.J. Gardner-Johnson, how do you stop Patrick Mahomes? And I did time it, 3.8 seconds of silence.
This is what I'm saying.
And then he's like, I guess just play football. So I don't know if that's like, I don't have an answer for that, or we got something planned, or what the case may be. But it seems like everybody's kind of being very cautious when they get asked that question about Mahomes. It's like, I better think about what I say before I say it.
Yeah, I've spoken to defensive coordinators around the league for years about this. And I don't, maybe Lou Anarumo was the closest to having an idea of how to slow it down. I still don't think the word stop has been figured out. And it's why we continually see him find ways to win until he gets figured out, which that may never happen.
Right. And when you look at this game and you think about the legacy that can be cited for Jalen Hurts, I think if Jalen Hurts wins this game, you're putting him in that where Russell Wilson got when he won a first one. That not necessarily like I think the word elite has been diluted a little bit. I think there's probably 5 elite quarterbacks in this league, but he's knocking on the door. Like if he wins one, like it's a big stage for Jalen Hurts more than I think it is for a 3-peat for Patrick Mahomes.
I think so as well. And truthfully, at the beginning of the season, it was hard for me to imagine that we'd be having a conversation about Jalen Hurts at this point. He, to me, just my own observation, having conversations with people around the league of how he's viewed, he's good. Not great, but after this season and finding ways and really, I think, getting on the same page with Nick Sirianni, they're still sorting it out here as we've seen. But after this NFC Championship game, this to me was the absolute best version of Jalen. And they say when you're playing your best football this time of year, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So I just think for Jalen, he certainly starts something pretty special, getting back to the Super Bowl and able to stop the Kansas City Chiefs from three-peating and making history. Yeah, that's something that's pretty wild.
I don't normally say nice things about Philadelphia. I grew up in North Jersey, so liking Philadelphia, if anything, is like very for me. But I feel like I've been a Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni apologist for the last 2 weeks because 2 of the last 3 years they're in the Super Bowl, and yet people want to say he's no good as a head coach, he's no good as a quarterback. And I say, but they've been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. You got to start giving them their flowers a little bit, right?
Well, 2 things. One, what part of North Jersey are you from?
Morse County, Randolph.
Yeah. I live in Bergen County now.
Okay, nice.
And I'm with you. Philly, it's just not our thing, right? Like when which is funny because we're so close to them, but we're different species, is how I describe it. And the way I view, I'm really hard on Nick Sirianni, and I have been all season when I've talked about him, because to me the great coaches have high emotional intelligence and maturity. And I just felt that there were just so many moments this past year, early on in the season, where I just thought this isn't the right fit. But what I've come to realize is Nick Sirianni is actually the best head coach for this Eagles team. You know, I don't think Nick Sirianni in Dallas, Nick Sirianni in Seattle works. But Nick Sirianni with this Philadelphia team, with these guys, with this kind of talent, this kind of character, it works because these guys love him. They do. I've been around him a lot. I've been in the locker room. I just think his style, I don't necessarily – I haven't covered a lot of coaches that have his type of coaching style that have had success. But he's been able to do it.
Right.
He's won like 70% of his –
It's nuts.
It's the stats are incredible at what he's been able to do. And obviously he's also got Saquon Barkley to thank for that.
Dianna, you're a busy lady. We appreciate the time. Dianna Russini with us right now. Before we get you out of here, you're wearing your Chiefs colors, so we appreciate that.
Love it.
For those of you that can't see her, red pants, black shirt, she's all ready to do this. How do you see Sunday's game going? And also, if you ever need a big dom, I'll give you my number.
I do need a big dom, so I appreciate that.
Sorry, Bob, I'm out of here.
Fine. You're going to go make more money doing that.
I've asked Big Dom to help me out. By the way, anyone can go to Big Dom and need help.
You just call me Big Dust. Even that sounds weird to say, but if you ever said that, we'd cut it. It would just go on our radio show.
All right, let's do it. Gosh, I have a bodyguard. I don't really need one, so I need an assistant.
Shoot your shot, they
for
say.
me? You want to help me organize my stuff?
No, that would not be good for him.
I need
he can't organize himself.
I need a Manny. I got a 3-year-old.
Hey, I'm a great Manny. I'll tell you that much.
Help them.
Great Manny.
They bite each other a lot.
Fantastic. Kids are great. Wait till they become 14 and 15, and they don't even know you're out of town.
Good. I can't wait because they're screaming, crying,
right.
Mommy, come home. I can't. And my husband's done. We've hit that point. Because I've been here since Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's what, Thursday?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah. We don't know. No, but wait. You got a couple more years, and then it gets.
So what's going to happen Sunday?
The Philadelphia Eagles are going to push this Chiefs team to keep up with them offensively. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be the first time this season that we're going to have to see Patrick and this offense keep up. Because the Eagles are going to come out on fire and fast because they know they got to play from ahead. And when I say they know that, when you look back at their season and the games that they've won, very rarely are they starting off not scoring first. So I just think they're going to test the Chiefs and test Patrick, which sounds ridiculous. But this season we just haven't seen the offense score that much. So that's what I think is going to be the factor.
15 seconds.
In terms of how Kansas City is going to be able to pull this off. And I think they'll be able to do it, too.
Well, Dianna Russini, we appreciate the time. That's Bob Fescoe, your future Manny, Dusty Likens.
5 seconds.
Dianna, thank you so much.
Dust!
That's right, Big Dust.
Thank you so much.
Dianna.
That was Dianna Russini, and all of our guests are brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City is geared up for their third straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. Thanks to Dianna Russini for joining us over here on Radio Row, which we are broadcasting live from Radio Row. Thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. Got a lot of guests coming up. We got Mitch Holthus at 7:15 or 7:25. We've got Dan Orlovsky, possibly John Gruden, Mark Donovan, president of the Chiefs, all join us in big game coverage on 96.5. The Fan is brought to you by Community America Credit Union, member owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. Don't forget, we will still get into the script, but coming up on the other side, Frank Clark, Bob Fescoe, Mac Morey, Dusty Liggins, all here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening
and the Kansas City Chiefs stay undefeated at 8-0, the only unbeaten team in the National Football League. 14 straight wins for the Chiefs Kingdom. That's an all-time Kansas City record and 7th in National Football League history.
That is the sound of the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus there for you. You'll hear Mitch Holthus in about 15 minutes from now. He'll be live from Radio Row joining us here, Bob Mack and myself. And you can also hear him with the big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, member-owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at CommunityAmerica.com. I don't really need to tell anybody about how big the game is on Sunday, how ready you get. Again, it's kind of different. This is the first time in my life I've been away from the city that I grew up in that roots for this team that they call the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm hoping, and I know, because I'm starting to see pictures on the Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, everybody wearing their Chiefs gear, wearing their red, big, huge Red Friday as you get ready for this gigantic game that is Philadelphia versus the Chiefs. They have the best roster. They're the best team in the NFC. They didn't win 15 games. They don't have Andy Reid. They don't have Patrick Mahomes. They don't have the luxury of being here the last 2 years, knowing what you have to do to go through the motions. We heard, people say everything is different. The whole process is different. It's a different sort of animal that you have to tame when you get into this sort of situation this season. Chiefs are ready. We're ready. Kansas City's ready. New Orleans, I hope you're ready for the town to be painted red on Sunday night.
And it's going to be a lot of fun when they end up winning this thing. And you're right. I think everybody is ready for this one, right? I think everybody is ready for this game just to be here. I know when we got on that plane on Sunday afternoon to come down here, I'm like, man, we got a whole week to go before we get to this football game. And I don't know, man. It's going to go slow, I think. And this week has just absolutely flown by. And I'm sure the weekend's going to fly by. But I'm just concerned about Sunday because of that late start for everybody and kind of leading up to that game and getting the excitement contained and all of that kind of good stuff that you do before a football game, getting ready for it. But it's pretty simple in this one. It comes down to stopping Saquon Barkley. If the Chiefs go out there and shut down Saquon Barkley, I don't believe Jalen Hurts can win the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. You take away their number one player, and that's what good defensive coordinators do. You go back to Bill Belichick over those years. He either took away Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce and said, you know what? The other person needs to beat us. The Chiefs are going to gear up. They're going to be ready to go, and they're going to stop Saquon Barkley. And then you're relying on Jalen Hurts to beat you. And as much as I do like Jalen Hurts and I think he doesn't get enough respect, I just don't think he can beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley being a major factor.
And I don't think the defense is the second best part of their team, and I don't think the defense is enough. Let's say they shut down Saquon Barkley. I don't think the defense is enough to beat the Chiefs either. You're never going to beat Patrick Mahomes with just an elite defense and a man offense. Mahomes will eventually figure it out come the third quarter, come the fourth quarter. We saw it last year in the Super Bowl. Slow on offense. Boom, they make a mistake, scores, touchdown, and all of a sudden it's overtime, and you're saying, well, how did we get here?
But the thing interesting about the Philly defense, aren't they the number one ranked defense allegedly, right? Patrick Mahomes, I think, is 6-0 against number one defenses in his career, and going against them in the postseason. There was some stat about that the other day. So, the number one defense, great. Patrick Mahomes can beat the number one defense. The number one running back, great. This defense can step it up and beat that number one running back, because when you tell them they can't, they absolutely go out there and they dominate. And that's how you know that they're so well coached, too. They're preparing all week to stop Saquon Barkley. They've been preparing for 2 weeks now to stop Saquon Barkley, right? And so I think this defense is going to be ready for that challenge. I know Andy always says we look forward to the challenge. I think they do look forward to this challenge, is shutting people up. This defense has a lot to gain by going out there and shutting up Saquon Barkley, because maybe people start recognizing, hey, this Chiefs team's had some pretty good defenses along the way as well.
No doubt about it. And another thing that is worthy to be noted is that there is an illness going around in the Philadelphia locker room, apparently. Jalen Carter is suffering from an illness, and Vic Fangio believes he will be ready to go. He's not missing the game.
No.
But
you ever try to do anything when you're sick? And no matter if you're an athlete or not, you're not 100%.
Every day of my life. There is that to take note. I get it. It's, we talked about Mahomes in the flu game a couple of years ago that he lost in Denver. But there is that going around. Jalen Carter is battling an illness, should be ready for the game on Sunday, and the illness is spread through the locker room. I assume at this point they've all just separated.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they've all quarantined in their room together.
Practice today.
They've got their tablets. They have everything they need to do. They've been preparing for this game for a week and a half, but there is that to be noted on as it went around yesterday on the social media platform. So, again, it is, Mitch Holthus joining us a little bit later. And, Nathan, give us that Frank Clark, baby.
We put a mindset in our whole defense that we weren't going to let them run the ball on us. We knew the only way they was going to win the game, that's run the ball. The quarterback not good enough to win the game passing, and we exposed all that. Anytime you run for 80 yards, you call yourself the leading running back, say what they're going to do to us, say we the 26th ranked defense in the league, and all we do is continue to prove to them who the baddest planet are.
How good's that quarterback, man?
You said Pat Mahomes?
Yeah.
MVP Pat? You said the illest motherfucker, Pat Mahomes. When Pat Mahomes your quarterback, you don't have no worries, no fears, no doubt. Pat Mahomes, come on, man. Pat Mahomes is the greatest quarterback in the world, don't add me.
There it is, Frank Clark getting you fired up after the AFC Championship game about 5 years ago against Tennessee. It's perfect. It's a carbon copy of what everybody's saying about this game. Let's go stop the running back.
You can watch us all here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, presented by our partners at Technology Group Solutions, the official IT provider of your Kansas City Chiefs. I need no intro after this. Coming up next, Craig Carton of Breakfast Ball on FS1 joins us. Mitch Holthus of your Kansas City Chiefs and the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs that you can hear on 96.5 The Fan on Sunday, because it will be brought to you by Community America. Credit union member owned, open to all invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. We keep rolling along here on 96.5 The Fan, live from Radio Row in New Orleans for one last ride here on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
Your
Here's the long snapper. Lutz waiting for the snap. Placement is down. Lutz's kick is blocked! It's blocked! It's blocked! The Chiefs blocked the kick! They're going to stay undefeated! The Kansas City Chiefs blocked a 35-yard field goal attempt! Kansas City wins this game on a blocked field goal!
Never forget that one. Woo! Never forget that game. What a game that was. Ben Maller's first time in Kansas City. Got to watch that. I chugged beer on FaceTime with Bob Fescoe and then spit it into my phone.
I mean, it was awesome. It was the best regular season game I've ever been to.
It was insane.
It was great.
Man. I mean, that
was there too.
That
awesome.
seems like a full 2 years ago, and it was literally this season.
Wow.
Don't forget, you have a chance to win $500. We have one more qualifier at 7:45 for that $500 gift card to Hy-Vee. You got to name the year when Nathan plays it for you. All you got to do is call into the number 913-586-7965. Say, hey Nathan, that was 2012 or whatever year Nathan decides to play.
We will not be playing a highlight from 2012.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
good. That's a good one not to play from.
So,
Yes.
so we've taken one of the years off of the Kansas City Chiefs. Name that year, but we
64 others.
We were joined yesterday by Craig Carton, who does breakfast ball on FS1 with Shalareth or Stank, and then former employee of the station, Danny Parkins. They all three do that show together. It's recorded yesterday. It was coming through as we were walking out, so we stood around. We were waiting for him. He goes, hey, guys, you from Kansas City? Like, yeah. He's like, all right, I got some stuff for you. So a little rough at the beginning because we were fired up, but we were fired the hell up. Here's what Craig Carton had to say about the Chiefs.
All right, we're now joined by Craig Carton of Breakfast Ball on FS1, man. Why do you
You guys are clear.
so much?
See, I knew this was coming. And I'm going to be honest because I'm getting so much crap from you fraud Kansas City fans. Whoa! It's like you guys forgot what life was like pre-Mahomes.
So?
You guys were the laughing stock of the NFL.
Yeah.
And now you walk around. I remember a day when even the guy you all love, Travis Kelce, wah, the Patriots get all the calls, wah, it's unfair, Brady gets all the calls. And now I'm doing it to you guys, and you're like, oh, well, you suck it up. Oh, you always blame the refs. We admit that we're the best team. You are the...
Go ahead.
I can't say it.
Come on. Say it.
Come on.
Say it.
I think the Eagles are better. I'm not going to lie to you. I think talent-wise...
Did you hear the latest news in the Eagles? No. There's an illness going around the locker room. Jalen Carter's under the weather.
Jalen Carter's going to be fine.
Okay.
What do you guys walk by there telling cough on it?
No, the refs went in there with the bird flu, and they gave him the sickness.
See, I would have take that back. I would have greater respect for your fan base if you could just own the fact that, like many great teams, you get the benefit of the calls.
Of course we do.
Like Jordan did. Brady did.
Jeter did.
But you guys can't own that. It drives me crazy when you guys like, oh, everyone thinks we only win because we get calls. We don't get any special treatment. Yeah, you do.
I'm trying to think of one of those calls that, did not go our way.
Josh Allen got a first down. You know he did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Here's the thing about that. That, to me...
You know he did.
To me, it just is like, they were ready for that. Like they said after the game,
they're ready for the refs to say no.
Josh Allen goes left all the time, right?
Oh, that was stupid.
Right? I mean, how bad is and then the Denver game block field goal. We knew this guy sucks. We're gonna go blast his ass.
That's pretty good. That's good. Yeah.
So they scout all this crap, right? They kind of know, right?
Well, look, I'm with you. Josh Allen only runs to the left. It's silly, but come on, man. I'm not even saying the Bills win the game, but don't act like he didn't get the first down.
Who's the MVP of the league this year? Was it Josh Allen?
Lamar Jackson.
Okay, because if it was Josh Allen, the MVP had the ball in his hands with 3:33 left.
Right, that's a great point.
Thank you.
And the Bill fan has to slurp that, has to swallow that whole.
Right.
Because if you had said to a Bills fan before that game, Josh Allen, 3:33 to go, all your timeouts, chance to win the game, everybody would have signed up for that. So that's on the Bills that they didn't overcome the bad officiating.
And their tight end dropped the ball.
And their
And their coach pretty much stinks in big games.
Yeah, I'm not a Bills fan.
But what is that? We're not using the refs here. So
keep going.
Maybe you found some educated Chiefs fans.
Yeah, but here's the thing. All those things you said, I'm with you. I don't argue any of that stuff. Yes. Kincaid drops the ball. Some guy doesn't run the right route. Josh doesn't see it. Whatever. I'm with you on all of that. Just give me the fact that the officials make calls that benefit you more than the opponent. Okay. And then we're all good.
I think there's times you have the face of the league, you got to protect it.
Okay.
But we don't get rules changed for us. They're getting ready to have lasers on first downs because of that call. Why do we have an extra overtime
trying to
possession?
get overtime changed years ago, and they
Buffalo
told
got
them no.
it.
Buffalo
We didn't get
got
the tough
it.
I mean, look, the bottom line is, as you guys know, when it comes down to Brady and Mahomes,
I got it.
You played them twice, you lost both games.
That's fair.
And that's huge. Yeah.
So it's okay being LeBron to Mike. It is.
I'm okay with that.
And that's what Patrick is. He's the second greatest quarterback of all time. Your generation can argue 10 years from now, is he the greatest? I'll always say it's Brady. I guess if he got to 8, I would say Mahomes, because that makes sense to me.
What if he wins a 3-peat and gets to 7?
We can have a conversation.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Look, he's first ballot Hall of Famer if he never played another down.
Right.
If he lost 10 straight Super Bowls, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and in my opinion, second to Brady.
Okay.
Right? So, yes, if they 3-peat and he gets to 7, I'll come back on and we can have that conversation. Yeah. At that point, I guess, was the 7th in his 40s with a new team?
Could be. Maybe.
Could be.
Could be. Maybe.
You guys can't let him know.
So, no, we're not going to. I'll make sure of that. So are we, like, to that stage of, like, I'm almost 50, you're in that age group as well?
Yeah.
We never let Michael Jordan go, right? Like, Michael will always be that guy.
For us, yes.
Right. So
for my son,
who's Michael Jordan?
An argument could be made for Kobe, for LeBron.
Right.
For me, because my son never saw him play, Michael play. For me, it's easy. Now, I'll give you an example. My father-in-law is almost 80. It's Wilt Chamberlain and nobody else.
Right. Well, Wilt, when I went to KU, Wilt had a time in Lawrence saying,
yes.
100, it's got a different meaning.
Yeah, so some of it's generational.
Yeah.
Because who did you see?
Right.
So I do think there's a generation of kids, even not just Chiefs diehards, who will tell you Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time, who maybe just weren't old enough to see Brady in his prime. That's a fair argument.
Right.
Like, I have a 14-year-old, and my 14-year-old's best friend will go to his grave right now telling you that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. He should think that.
Yeah,
He never saw
absolutely.
Jordan play.
Yep.
So I get that, and there's some generational bias for sure.
All right, Craig Carton, let's get down to it. You're a busy man. You got a lot of stuff going on. Why Philadelphia in this game? I kind of like this guy a lot. Never met him before.
That's why I told you this is my spirit animal on radio. You should have listened to him turn Evan Roberts.
How did we get so far back in this corner?
Why are we
Are you gravity
on a radio station right now? Like, what was this, a podcast I never heard of?
It's whatever.
It's all good.
Never heard of him.
I think if you're intellectually honest, which I'm not, but if I was, and if you were, top to bottom, the Eagles have a better roster.
Yeah,
they just do.
Yeah, they do.
Now, Mahomes is different. You give me a close game, I'm telling you Kansas City's going to win. They haven't seen a running back other than Derrick Henry in week 1 that's doing what Saquon's doing. Offensive line of the Eagles is dominant. Jalen Carter is your Chris Jones. They don't play against each other, obviously. So I think we get a high-scoring classic. Push comes to shove. I think Philly's better.
The shove.
I think they're better. I think they're a better team. And that's not a knock. If you tell me
15 seconds.
in Kansas City. If you tell me it's a 10-point win, I'm taking Philly.
And if the Chiefs win, I'll come on Breakfast Ball and gloat my stuff for you. There
We
you go.
don't do guess here.
Oh, that's right. Fair enough. Either way, Craig Carton with us here from Breakfast Ball. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Craig Carton there. All of our guests are brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City is gearing up for their 3rd straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. We go from Craig Carton to your fan, your friend, your man. Mitch Holthus joins us now here on 96.5 The Fan.
He's been the voice of Chiefs Kingdom since 1994.
Damian Williams, 20, stays in bounds, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Kansas City, Damian Williams runs to immortality.
Here's Mitch Holthus on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Mitch Holthus brought to you by Silverstein Eye Centers. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center. Brought to you also by GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Text line saying that guy's a clown. That guy got me fired up. Give me Mitch Holthus. This is the guy I want to hear. I'm ready to get focused. Stay focused, Dusty. Mitch Holthus, how are you on this wonderful Friday, last Red Friday, National Wear Red Friday, the Friday before the big game, before we play the birds and defeather those birds?
Well, boys, you're surviving media Radio Row, Media Central, whatever that is.
Right.
Now, I was down there for 2 days. You get mushy head syndrome. It's a very real thing. What is it? MHS, mushy head syndrome, from guys like you just had on. I wish I could be there. I was trying to dig out of that interview what compelling evidence there was to pick Philadelphia other than they're the best roster top to bottom. It's all the same stuff.
Right.
Like, best offensive line, they gave up 45 sacks. You guys realize that?
Yep.
Philadelphia, a running team, number one in the league in time of possession, allowed 45 sacks, 38 to Hurts, who's a mobile quarterback. Oh, when Pickett came into play, he got sacked 4 times, and the cat from Stanford, who's the third guy, got sacked. I don't even buy that, well, top to bottom, 1-53, Philadelphia has the better team. Do they? Do they? I mean, I could go through piece by piece to this roster and go, I don't know. Looks like a pretty even match there. So I just keep hearing the same things over and over and over. Maybe my head's mushy. Love you guys. This is my 38th show of the week.
Wow.
And, yeah, and it's going to head – I've got 6 more today. And if the BBC gets a hold of me, it could get close to 45 because they're trying to track me down. So, anyway, mushy head syndrome, but let's play. Let's go, and let's do something historically. To me, it is disrespectful to this Chiefs team and these players of the narrative that's out there, including Snoop Dogg at the awards ceremony going, it's the Eagles against the refs. Stop it.
Yeah, and that has to be enough of that, too. And you know, that kind of is leveled out this week on Radio Row, though, Mitch. I mean, talking to some people, and you know, there's still the ref, you know, truthers out there. But I think more and more people start to realize that it isn't about the refs. The Chiefs are just a damn good football team. And I think the term we heard this week from Gerald McCoy earlier in the week that I'm going to steal, it's just disrespectful to Andy Reid and his coaching staff to continue to talk about the favors that they get from the referees, because Andy and his coaching staff are just better than you. Just listening to highlights this morning, the blocked field goal, stopping Josh Allen, you know, short because they knew he was going to go left. Like, that's all work that the coaching staff puts in. They dial that up. They put that game plan in place. And by saying the referees and spotting the ball, it's just disrespectful to the hard work that this coaching staff does every single day.
But Snoop's reading off a prompter. He didn't write his own stuff. So who's writing that? That's not the league? Is that the league? Is that, you know, who is that?
Yeah.
Is that somebody from Fox? Like, is that, I don't know, but it's stupid. It's still there. Because then what you do is speak it into existence, basically. And people, that's what's been done with this. But I'm infuriated. Now, it has tempered some on Radio Row. But then when they come out at the awards ceremony and pop that out there, you're like, no, come on. So, yeah, anyway, let's just go. These guys are ready. They're ready to do this, to pull off history, and we're experiencing it. Let's do it.
How have they handled the last 11 and a half months? I mean, this is all they've talked about since the last Super Bowl.
It has been that way, and it's not been said. There's been no spoken, hey, let's do this, and have pep rallies and say three-peat, and three-peat T-shirts and three-peat banners up in the practice facility. There has been none of that. But, guys, it has been unspoken. I've sensed it every day, OTAs, camp, mini camps, and the playoffs started the first snap of the first game against Baltimore on September the 5th. This team has handled it. They're so mature mentally and emotionally, and they just have approached this like, we're going to do this. We're not sure how it's going to happen, but we're going to do it. And that's the way they've attacked this season. And you can give all the stats. We can sit here and pound stats back and forth. But to me, that has been the biggest part of this team that sets it apart from any of the other 31 teams that I've been the voice of the Chiefs for. And one of the most remarkable teams in that regard that I've been around in any sport, any level.
Mitch, I want to bring this up because a lot of people talk about the Vic Fangio factor, 0-8 versus Mahomes. And then yesterday there was a little bit of news saying that Jalen Carter had an illness. He's battling. He should be ready for the game. That there's something going around that locker room. So what say you when it comes to that news and also the Vic Fangio thing?
Well, that's a part that fans or we don't think about. There's so much sickness going around, whether it's influenza A or COVID and so Rick Burkholder and his staff, that's the other thing, if not just injuries, of trying to keep guys healthy. And they're in closed confinement here, right?
Yep.
And so once you get something going around a locker room, so to speak, it can be a problem, and you can lose games because of it. I'm not saying that's the case with the Eagles. But the Fangio factor, I think, is significant. Remember, he was the defensive coordinator for Matt Nagy for 2 years in Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
And Nags, yeah. So they spent almost every waking hour together. And then Vic got the job in Denver as head coach. But there's some familiarity here both ways. Now, generally, Vic's approach is, I'm going to make you be patient. I'm going to see how disciplined you are, because you may get 4 or 5, but are you on 2nd down and 5 going to be disciplined enough against the defense I'm going to show you to run the play you should run, or you're going to get a little crazy and a little rectal itch and think, no, we're going to try this or that. Now, what this Philadelphia team has done for this Vic Fangio bend not break, for lack of a better cliche, is they take the ball away. They poke the ball out. And Coach was telling me throughout the week that they do it front to back. Like, their defensive linemen will try to punch it out. Usually it's the linebackers or DBs. And this is almost a cut and paste with the discussion I had with you before the Buffalo game. Because the two teams that do this the most right now in the league, or stress it or try to do it on every play, is Buffalo and Philadelphia. That's why I said I think we're playing the Philadelphia Bills and beat the Buffalo Eagles, because not only just running the ball in that approach and changing their offensive approach, it's their defensive approach. Bend not break, but we'll punch it out. And we'll punch it out after you get a 12-yard gain. Look what's happened in the playoffs. The Eagles are plus 10 over 0 giveaways in their 3 playoff games, but they've done it after gains. They've done it in special teams. They've done it in a punt return and a kick return. So Vic's defense has been, where we're going to get our decisive play is you being impatient or we punch it out. If the Chiefs are patient like they've been all year and don't turn it over, which Pat now has a record of 288 passes without an interception of any quarterback going into a Super Bowl, then you'll beat these guys, and you could handle them.
Talking with Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, and obviously it's Saquon Barkley. It's why I've been playing my interview from Frank Clark after the 2019 championship game where they stuffed Derrick Henry, because he goes, all week they told us we couldn't do it. I feel like it's deja vu all over again, Mitch, where everybody's saying can't stop Saquon Barkley. I think they are going to stop Saquon Barkley.
Well, you just hold him to singles and doubles and don't give him home runs. The stat with Saquon is 6 runs of 70 yards or more for touchdowns. That's an all-time NFL record.
Wow.
And, yeah, but here's your caveat to that, boys. Of those 6 70-plus runs, which is the equivalent of hitting 62 home runs in a baseball season, 6 of those have been against 2 teams. 4 against the Rams, 2 in the playoffs and 2 in the regular season, and 2 against the Commanders. 1 in the playoffs and 1 in the regular season. The other to the Saints, and there's a couple 50s in there as well. But is that scheme and personnel? Because if I hit 62 home runs, but I hit 49 of those off of 2 teams, then maybe there's something there that it's not that he's a home run hitter on every single play against every single team. Now, it's taking nothing away from Saquon. He's explosive. But Philadelphia is much different than the team they were in Super Bowl 57. Keep in mind, Hurts was the first quarterback in NFL history to account for 4 touchdowns, throw for 304 yards, and lose. They're not doing that this year. They are 29th in the league in passing. They're only the 2nd team in Super Bowl history to make the Super Bowl in the bottom 5 of passing. The other team, the 82 Dolphins, and that was a strike season. So what Philadelphia has done is kind of recalibrated their offense to be centered around Barkley to hit home runs. Then they complement that with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and Hurts still kind of running the ball a little bit. Dallas Goedert is really, really good. I think he's way underrated. But this is about Barkley. Hit home runs, buddy, and we'll win. Well, if you hold him to singles, you lose.
And the way that you do that is good pitching and good drafting on defense. Both teams have kind of revamped their defense from the last time these two teams played each other. Obviously, the draft class for the Chiefs that is still undefeated in the playoffs was there, but they're more experienced. Philadelphia as well, some more picks and some more experience on that defensive side. Mitch Holthus.
No question, and we got to give Howie Roseman and Philadelphia their due. They have drafted well, and especially on defense. I loved Quinyon Marshall when he came out this draft, and I'm glad he's going to the NFC. May see him in the Super Bowl, and here we are. but Cooper DeJean, and kind of basically in the Chiefs' kingdom, Ida Grove, Iowa, in West Central Iowa, and here he is as an impact player. And then they go get all the Georgia guys they could find. They went to the Georgia spring game and started just taking guys. And they're good. You mentioned Carter, but Nolan Smith and others. And Baum was a great pickup. They go get Baum and Burks as linebackers as free agents. They've done an excellent job of building their defense, but so have the Chiefs. We've talked about this every week of what the Chiefs have done defensively. 8-man rotation up front, unheard of in the NFL. The linebackers have had really good seasons, if not spectacular, underrated.
Yep.
And then the DBs have had to deal with a lot. So, yeah, Dusty, you're dead on. These two teams have drafted well and built their defenses that are, well, Philadelphia's is a lot different than Super Bowl 57, but the Chiefs have even matured more by that undefeated class of 2022.
All right, Mitch, as we get ready to kind of wrap things up for the final time with you, it's a kind of, I don't want to use the term a legacy game, but an important game for two players, I think, DeAndre Hopkins and Kareem Hunt. Obviously, Kareem finally gets to the Super Bowl after, leaving Kansas City. DeAndre Hopkins never been to a Super Bowl before. He gets that opportunity as well. What's this game mean to those two guys?
I think it's of this week, probably you nailed, Bob, the least told story of so many untold stories, because everybody just jumps into the common narratives, is that those two guys in specific, you've seen what D-Hop has posted, right?
Yep.
The fact that, a single-parent home and small-town kid, and now I get a chance to play in a Super Bowl. He and I had a chance to visit. I got a chance to walk out with the team on opening night. It was awesome, and I had chills and tears and everything else. But I went to those two guys in specific, and I said, D-Hop, you're getting to take this walk. And he's pretty soft-spoken, but it all resonates with him. I think he'd do anything he could to win this game for his teammates. And then let's take Kareem Hunt. We all know that story a little bit better, but he didn't think he would have this chance. He wasn't jealous of what was happening that he thought he could have been a part of since 19, but he now has resolved to win this game. If there is something to push the Chiefs past the limit here in a very even game, it's the fact that these Chiefs want to win this game as much for D-Hop and Kareem as anything else, and to make history. And for D-Hop and Kareem, they would give everything they had to win that game, because a group of teammates opened the door for them and said, we're going to try to give you something you've never had. But let's be honest, and I told D-Hop and Kareem both, we wouldn't be here without you guys.
That's right.
So there's this two-way conduit of power and strength that I think pushes the Chiefs over, and that people are missing that story, because these guys, D-Hop and Kareem, will not let the Chiefs lose this game.
No doubt, Mitch, neither are you. You're not going to let them lose this game, because you're going to be fired up on Sunday. You got to pace yourself. Stay focused, Mitch. I was really hoping you were going to be here this morning and sit on my lap, and I was going to contain you while you got excited here on Radio Row. But I'll wait for another day. Mitch Holthus, thank you so much. Take care and enjoy another Super Bowl game that you get to call my friend at 96.5 The Fan.
I was going to come down there and be with you guys. I'm not the hotel a mile and a half away. But I think when I got tased and cuffed and carried out of there the other day because I got in a fight with everybody I think that probably ended today's action.
Yeah, that probably did. They do have a picture of you with a line through it that says "No Mitch." So yeah, you're better off at the hotel, my friend.
And it's Mike Florio carrying it around.
It is.
Drop the mic, why don't you, Mitch? Take care, buddy. We'll talk to you later. We'll listen to you on Sunday, my man.
See you, boys.
Mitch Holthus brought to you by Silverstein Eye Centers. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care. Silverstein Eye Centers, and also brought to you by GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're trying to get you fired up. We're giving you all the guests we ran into. Coming up on the other side, Dan O. Mr. Orlovsky will sit down with Bob Fescoe, myself, and Mac here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
The 17 and gives the Chiefs 9 consecutive AFC West championships. That is second in National Football League history for division dominance.
Right back at it here on 96.5 The Fan, your home, Kansas City Sports. And again, we are live on Radio Row in New Orleans, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City's geared up for their third straight title. And Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during this historic run. Nathan, was that it, or do we need to do the year? You still got one of those?
Still got one of those,
All right. I was going to say, well, I didn't know if he was playing
no,
out
I
of
didn't
break.
either. Good call, yeah.
So, again, name that year where we play a Chiefs highlight. You call in. Nathan answers. You guess the year. You get it right. You go in as the final contestant of the 5 people drawing that could win $500 for you for a Hy-Vee gift card. Nathan, roll that beautiful beam footage.
36-36 tie in overtime. Chiefs first down and goal to go. Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown! Kansas City. One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelsey on a push fade comeback. And the Chiefs have won this incredible divisional playoff game in overtime.
All right, if you can't guess that one in 13 seconds, there's your clue. If you can't guess that one in 13 seconds, I don't know what I can do for you.
Oh.
But yeah, you oughta nail it as we get fired up here on a final Red Friday before the Super Bowl matchup that you can hear all of that action here on 96.5 The Fan. And, of course, it is brought to you by Community America Credit Union, member-owned, local, and for you, communityamerica.com. Sign up today. Also, we have a guest that wants to join us now. His name is Dan Orlovsky. You guys know him. You don't like him. You don't like his takes. I got a feeling you're going to enjoy Dan Orlovsky after you hear this when he joins us now, and it is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Drink responsibly. When we get to this and we talk about this, because I know we do this all year, right? We talk about how, like, guys say things, and then you have to finally meet them, and, well, what do you think about these two quarterbacks, Dano?
I'll start with Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick's had
You're clear.
a really great 4 months. The first month was you're trying to figure out why the play didn't look like we've been accustomed to, and there's variables attached to that. New wide receivers. Hollywood wasn't available. The offensive line struggled, and then he, like he always does, he's morphed into the late game assassin, the guy that controls the game. It's almost like watching Greg Maddux pitch back in the day, just constantly in control of every play and every kind of phase of how the game's going quarter by quarter. And so he's playing his best ball now. He's almost on a play-by-play basis, figuring out, all right, it's 1st and 10 and you're playing man coverage. Great, I'm running. All right, we'll be in 2nd and 3. And so the efficiency that he's kind of settled into is a really big deal. And it's hard. I constantly say how hard it is for uber talented guys to have to play that style. Patrick probably doesn't want to throw the ball at the line of scrimmage all the time. It's what's necessary. So it's a huge challenge. The best defense he's played all year probably when it comes to the internal rush from Jalen Carter is a huge deal. I don't think there's anybody in football defensively that runs to the ball better than Philly with more people and punches at it. That'd be a huge thing not only for him but everybody on their offense. They will not give you big plays. They will force you to be unbelievably efficient and patient. The ball placement for yards after the catch will have to be a big deal. He won't really know what kind of coverage they're playing because they kind of play what we call muddy or cloudy coverage. So it'd be a big-time challenge for him. For Jalen, it's the biggest challenge he's had since the last time he played this team in the Super Bowl. This elite defense, elite defensive coordinator, elite interior defensive tackle. Obviously, he's got a plethora of people around him and help. I think 2nd down for Jalen's going to be huge. If they get into 3rd and 6 plus, Spags will have a good day and a lot of the chaos that they can create. Jalen wants to throw the ball on the outside. He doesn't want to throw the ball on the inside. He's obviously worked well. They're in the Super Bowl. Yep. So, if you can get him to do that, if you can get a little bit of internal pressure and force him out either side, but really to his left, he'll struggle. And, he hasn't killed people when he's gotten outside of the pocket like he had in, a little bit of the younger part of his career. But if you give him one-on-ones on the outside, he's going to hit them.
You know, you mentioned earlier when we started about Mahomes not putting up the flashy numbers. That's big. Patrick Mahomes' biggest mistake was doing 50 and 5,000 in his first year.
Yeah, the expectation.
Right, yeah. People live in 2018 and they think it's 2018. I think what's most impressive about Patrick Mahomes is that he's legitimately had to change his game just about every year.
Yeah.
Going from this to that to this to that, constantly changing who he is. That, to me, is the most impressive thing about Patrick. He can win any damn way.
It's like Tiger Woods, early 2000s when he was unbelievable, and then he was like, I'm changing my golf swing, and everyone's like, why? You're the best player on tour. And that's really hard. Like, that's really hard for a player that it's kind of what I was referencing, just an incredibly talented guy to not want to constantly make the story I've constantly shared was being with Matthew Stafford, and we would watch tape and he would make throws, and I'd be like, why? Why are you making this throw? He's like, because I can, and you can't.
Yeah.
And I don't want to throw the 5-yard ball. He's right, though. I want to throw it 20 yards on the sideline in between 4 people. And so, but to have the discipline like Patrick's had to do it, it's the reason why they're here.
You're a busy man. We'll get you on your way. 2 things. Your food takes, we all know, they make fun of them all the time, or they give you a lot of crap for it. You're in a weird place for food. How do you survive? And then also, how do you see, who do you see winning this game on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm gonna have frequent the Smoothie King a lot while I'm down here.
Right.
This probably isn't the best place for me in food. Who do I think wins?
Yeah.
I think this is a 3-quarter game if you're Philadelphia. If you're Philly and you don't have a 2-possession lead at the end of the 3rd quarter, you're flirting with danger. I think Kansas City wins. I picked against them twice. I picked against them at the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
That's right.
And I picked against them last week.
So please pick against them. Just keep it going.
I'm a pretty dumb person. I don't think I'm that dumb.
10 seconds.
I think this bodes well for the style of football that Kansas City offensively wants to play.
Well, I'm glad that you're finally on our side. We'll stop going against your takes. Orlovsky, we appreciate it. Dan Orlovsky from ESPN joins us. Take care, brother.
Be well, guys.
Meeting the guy for the first time, it actually was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. He's actually a pretty good dude, and finally came full circle and said, you know what, I'm done doing it. I'm done picking against him. I might as well just stop being an idiot. Or he said, I'm pretty dumb. I'm not the dumbest, but I'm pretty dumb. But now I'm going to start picking the Chiefs. And again, all our guests are brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City is gearing up for their 3rd straight title in the Academy Sports and Outdoors stores. Have everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. By the way, Zach in Kingsville.
Way to go, Zach.
He's the one that got the high V moment, right?
There you go, buddy.
The 5th and final contestant, one will be selected, and you that wins gets $500 to High V.
Hell of a deal to get the $500 gift card to High V, your official grocery store of the Kansas City Chiefs. Get you all your Chiefs gear, your Chiefs cookies that look like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and do yourself a favor, sample their brats. They've got so many different brats that are perfect for game day in Kansas City. So get on over to Hy-Vee. Use their aisles online as well. It makes it so much easier to do all your dang shopping at Hy-Vee. They do a great job. Love Hy-Vee. Love the folks over there. Get over to Hy-Vee today.
Not sure how this happened, but our text line's been taken over by Eagles fans. We keep getting texts to say, fly, Eagles, fly, go Birds, fly, Eagles, fly,
I
go
bet you they
Birds.
told them to do that in Philadelphia because they're not here today. They left, so they must be infiltrating our text line, which is fine. Didn't they try that with the bars in Kansas City and whatnot?
Yeah, they tried calling all
that.
these bars, and then they got a lot of backlash back. Hilarious audio if you missed it. But also, we are live on radio in New Orleans. You can watch us all. We're live on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, however you want to check it out. Coming up on the other side, the final script of the year, where we try to get it right. I can tell you this thing, that guy's not going to play in the game, even though he used to play in the stadium that they're going to play in. Drew Brees walking by. It's still active on Radio
Drew
Row.
Brees here early today.
Very early.
With the suit on. He's got to go on early shows, man. So we come back. We get into the script. It's Mac, it's Bob, it's myself, Dusty Likens. We give you what we think will happen Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles at 5:30 here in Nolens at the Superdome. You're listening to 95 The Fan, your home. Kansas City Sports. There it is, our buddy back home, Nathan, doing all the hard work, as well as Mac doing the hard work on the ground. They're best friends now. They've talked to each other more than they've ever talked to each other in their entire life.
Miss you, Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan, we love you.
Love you,
man.
buddy.
Thanks, Nathan.
Love you, brother.
Hell of a week, real quick. Let's give it up for
Yeah,
Nathan.
seriously,
Hell of a
Nathan,
week.
thank
Hell
you
of
so
a
much.
week. We love that for Nathan. We love that for him. Thank you so much for all the help. Without you, we are not doing this show. Without you, we don't have the content that we were supposed to have. Coming up here in like 5 minutes, apparently, Emmitt Smith. You remember him? Pretty good running back, right?
Yeah.
He's going to sit down with us.
All right, that'll be great. Well, let's get into the script while we wait for Emmitt to get over here, right? Yeah, let's do it.
Nope. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, all brought to you by my good friends over at Foaling. Check them out, 435 in State Line. You can go foal around and find out. Reserve a lane now at foalingkc.com. Who wants to get it started today?
All right, I'll do it.
You got to rip
I got to
some
spout
takes.
some takes, Bob, okay? Come on, let me rip this, okay? I think the Chiefs come out more prepared and more calm than you have seen any team ever come out for a Super Bowl. They've been here. They've done that. Why wouldn't they? I think the biggest problem with trying to stop the Chiefs' offense is you can't stop everything. You don't know what to stop. Fine, you stop Travis Kelce. Okay, they've got a slew of wide receivers. You want to stop the wide receivers? There's Kelce. They've got running backs. They've got, 2 tight ends behind Travis Kelce who work. And plus, they've got a guy named Patrick Mahomes II. He's not too bad at this thing either. And once you finally figured it out, it's a Samaje Perine, it's a Juju, it's a Noah Gray. Dusty said it multiple times this week. It's a Justin Watson who could even come big on a third down. I think the game starts out close, 17-13 at halftime, and that's when the experience and swagger comes into play. Mahomes is going to be decisive. He's going to be quick in the pocket. DeAndre Hopkins is going to come up with the big play. So is Isaiah Pacheco. Jalen Hurts is going to turn it over twice. McDuffie getting an interception. That'll ascend his name into kind of pure household name status. And Chiefs win this game 31-20.
Guys, you got a blowout. I like that.
Love
Look
it.
at you.
Let's go. I'm learning, Bob.
You're learning. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite of the Rob Britton route. I think Karlaftis has a sack. I think Chris Jones has a sack. I think McDuffie has a pick. I think Nick Bolton has a huge tackle for a loss. I think the offense does its thing. I think Mahomes throws for 3 touchdowns. I think he runs for at least 40 yards. I think Xavier Worthy shows up big once again. The rookie, huge shoes to fill over this year. He's done it well. I think the Chiefs win 34-19.
There you go, a blowout as well. I think this one is pretty simple for all of those sitting in the back, which is what most of America has been doing when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. The three-peat happens, and it happens early. A quick 3-and-out by Philadelphia to start the game, and then Patrick Mahomes takes over. He comes out firing, leads that team down the field for a 7-0 lead. It's Travis Kelce who gets into the end zone. The Eagles try to rally, but the panic starts to set in. Jalen Hurts ends up turning it over, and the Chiefs get a defensive touchdown. They're now up 14-0, and the celebration starts to begin. The Chiefs defense shuts down Saquon Barkley. He never becomes a factor in this game. Mahomes finds everyone on the roster for at least 1 catch, and Chris Jones dominates that line of scrimmage, comes up with 2 big sacks, and the Chiefs win it 35-0, baby. Book it, mark it, done. Let's take care of business and roll the Philadelphia Eagles.
There you go.
Love it.
That's right. That's the script that we always get wrong. So hopefully we get
Yeah,
this one right.
exactly
We're
right,
always
yeah.
wrong. We never get it right. But that's the one that I want to get right. That's why you're short and to the point, Dusty. That's why you stay focused, Dusty. That's why you get ready for this game that will be played at 5:30 on Sunday that you can hear on 96.5 The Fan. All because it's brought to you by Community America Credit Union.
Yeah, and I like the fact that everybody's kind of sensing that blowout and feeling like it's going to be one of those games where we've gone into a lot of Super Bowls over the years where people think it's going to be close or where people think it's going to be a blowout, and it delivers the opposite of what you expect in this football game. And I kind of believe that, that's where we're going right now with this one. There's been so much talk.
Right.
It's like gambling. They always say when the public bets on one side, you're kind of supposed to, go to the other side because the public really doesn't know what they're talking about. I kind of feel like that's been the case all week in New Orleans, and really the week before we even got here to the Super Bowl, is that everybody's just been talking Philadelphia. The Eagles are the best roster. The Eagles are this. The Eagles are that. And it's almost like they forgot who the opponent is. It's almost like the Eagles have been that team that is the veteran-led team that's been here before. And they have, but, 2 years ago. But the Kansas City Chiefs have residency at the Super Bowl. This is kind of our game now, right? And And so I think when people start to talk about the Eagles, they continue to forget about the Chiefs, and Kansas City kind of likes it that way. And all of that talk about what's supposed to happen, more often than not, what's supposed to happen doesn't happen, and you see the opposite happen. And I kind of feel like that's where we're headed with this game with the Chiefs, because all the talk this week has been focused and centered on the running back for the Eagles, Saquon Barkley. All week long, it's been Saquon Barkley, and the Chiefs know who they need to stop. It's Saquon Barkley, and they shut him down. They win this football game, because I just don't believe Jalen Hurts is going to be able to win this game with his arm.
Shayshawn Broccoli
That's
is
right.
his name. We were told Emmitt Smith not here yet, should be here soon. So let's go to break. We'll come back on the other side, be joined by Emmitt Smith, the Hall of Fame running back for so many years, one of the best to ever do it in the sport. We'll talk to him about Shayshawn Broccoli on the other side. I didn't make it the name Hugh Douglas did. He's a Eagles representative, so it is what it is. Fescoe, Mac, Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home, Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty, live from New Orleans at Radio Row, brought to you by Bud.
joining us. We are now joined by Mark Donovan. How are you, sir, of the Kansas City Chiefs here again in the Super Bowl, a third one in a row, a fourth in, 6 years? This just never gets old, does it?
It never gets old, and you always take it and appreciate it. You never take it for granted, and the week's been great. It's been a very smooth operation. Experience is a great teacher, and we've had, as you said, a lot of experience in doing this, and the guys have just been like, they know what to expect, and we've been rolling.
Yeah, how vital is that to have that kind of plan in place versus everybody else? Now, I know Philly's been here the last 2 years, but, I mean, it feels like this is your game, and everybody else is just kind of coming along for the ride, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, Bob, but, we start planning for this probably end of October.
Yep.
Right? So we're in the planning mode, hoping it happens, and that gives us the ability to really just hit the ground running and execute. Got a great team around us. A lot of them have experienced 4 or 5 of these, so they've done it before too, and it just makes it a lot easier for us. Coach talks a lot about eliminating distractions, and that's huge this week. Everything as smooth as possible. Guys can just focus on football, practice, relax, and go win a game.
Yeah, when you look at this and you say smooth, relaxed, and everything like that, and we'll get into some more, I guess, different type of questions, but we were there on the field Monday night. Bob noticed this before anybody in our group that we were with. Mahomes just looked like annoyed. He just looked focused, like, I hate that it's Monday. I wish it was Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's just go play the game. Let's get over all this stuff. We've done it before. We get what it is, but give me the Sunday.
Yeah, Brett and I were talking about that yesterday in the locker room before the practice. The week sort of builds on you.
Yep.
You get here, Sunday's sort of a easy day. Then Monday, you're like, okay, we're here, let's go. Tuesday, Wednesday, it's still you practice and it's normal. You just got other stuff going on around it. I think today going forward is when everything starts to lock down.
Yeah.
And you see that in the guys. The great thing is in our locker room we've got such amazing leadership that we've got a lot of guys who've been here a lot and understand it. As I said, you got some new guys who've never been here before, and they're watching the veterans. And then what's really cool about this team especially is you got guys who've been in the league a long time and have never done this. And that's really fun to watch, how that all interacts. And it sets up for a really special team this year.
It really does. And, I mean, like DeAndre Hopkins and Kareem Hunt, we were talking with Mitch about those two guys who have never been here before but have been in this league for so long. Have you seen them this week, and what's it kind of been like to kind of watch it through the eyes of those two?
Yeah. Coach has different players speak after practices a couple days a week, and he's had DeAndre speak to the team, and then he had Kareem yesterday speak to the team after it. And I'm not going to tell you everything they said, but I would tell you that their message, the theme of their message is how grateful they are to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And, 8, 10, 12 years in the league and to never have this opportunity. For them to say don't take it for granted, appreciate every minute, do everything we possibly can to win this game because you may never get back here, it just hits different when it's coming from a guy like that.
Yeah.
Versus, coach or me or anybody else talking about it. So it's pretty powerful, and you can see it in both of them, just how much they appreciate the opportunity to be here and be part of this.
The Kansas City-Philly relationship is kind of unique here. I mean, a lot of you guys were there. Now you're here. And, I mean, there's just kind of that synergy seemingly between the two cities and the two franchises. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's fun. We were talking about this the other day, too. Like, if we talked prior to the Buffalo Bills game, and Veach and I were saying, like, to win a Super Bowl this year, we're actually going to have to win 2 Super Bowls. That Buffalo game is going to feel like a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then we're going to have to go beat either the Lions or the Eagles. And, if you're going to go create more NFL history and do something that's never been done for us, of course it's going to be Philly, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's sort of it's not a full circle story, but for Andy, for a lot of our coaches, for Brett, for myself, we know these guys really well. They know us really well. It's a great organization. It's a great culture. Different operations, but really good people. And the fact that both of these teams have been in this game so much recently speaks to that.
Talking to Kansas City Chiefs team president Mark Donovan here on 96.5 The Fan with Fescoe and Dusty. So you talked to Brett about, what you guys are going to do or how you're going to celebrate a Super Bowl in October. Announced, yes, I'm right. But again, we found out yesterday that Australia is going to be a home of a new game for the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you and Brett think to yourselves like, man, I'd really like to go to Brazil. I'd like to take the wife and the family to Australia. Would like to go to London. Like, what do you think about the international aspect of football and where the Kansas City Chiefs, who are clearly the face of the NFL right now, hated them or love them, they're the face because of your success. How much can you continue to be the face outside of the United States?
Yeah, we about 4 or 5 years ago, we were sitting around the table talking about the international opportunity that we had. And this was our marketing team led by Laura Krug and some other really talented people. And at that time, we had become the new America's team. And, I have a lot of respect for what the Cowboys have done over the years. I've been in the league a long time. I've watched that happen. And I challenged our team and said, we don't want to be America's team. The Cowboys have earned that. We got to be bigger. What's bolder? And there's a great line from Lamar, and there are many great lines from Lamar, but one was dream big and set audacious goals. And he truly believed that was the only way you'd reach your full potential. And that was ringing in my ear at the time, and I was like, what's bigger than America's team? And I said, our goal should be the world's team. Right? And that was the reaction. And around the table was like, whoa. It was a little bit
How
like
long ago was
pull
that?
the reins. This was 5 years ago.
Okay.
I said, but let's think about this for a second. The NFL has never let teams actually market internationally. They're challenging us to go bid for markets. We've got a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame coach, a Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. We've been in more Super Bowls than anybody else since the Patriots did it. The world is shrinking. Social media and content consumption is now worldwide, all the time, 24 hours a day. There are all kinds of distribution channels, streaming, everything else. Like, it went from a fear, like that may be too big a goal, to it's a responsibility. Right now we have this platform that we've never been on. This franchise has never been where it is today.
Right.
The world has never been the way it is today, and we have this opportunity that, to end the story, my goal is 30 years from now, there's going to be some kid in Madrid or Tokyo or Auckland, and he's going to be wearing a Chiefs jersey.
Yeah.
And you're going to walk up to him and you're going to say, how'd you become a Chiefs fan? And he's going to answer the same way every kid in Kansas City does. My dad, my uncle, my teacher, my coach, they became a fan back in 2020, 2024. 30 years from now, the fans are going to be worldwide. And it's because of the things we're doing today.
I understand now why you do what you do. I'm all in, man.
It's a great way to view it, and it should be. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. Everybody in the world loves Patrick Mahomes. Now you've got the Taylor Swift aspect of things as well, which is only help you grow the brand further. How much have you seen the brand grow, both internationally and even locally now, where you're taking over the St. Louis market and the entire state of Missouri? How much have you seen the brand grow in 5 years?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, they're all kind of measurements, right? A couple that I would point out. We're the first NFL team to have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
The only other team that's ever done that in sports in the U.S. is the Golden State Warriors when they're doing their run. We are the number one brand franchise in the NFL by a couple of different measures. Now, there are a bunch of measures that say other teams are number one, but we're in the top 5. If you look at internationally, in every single market that the NFL is in from an international standpoint, we're in the top 5. In the top 5 of those markets, we're either 1 or 2.
Oh, wow.
Right? So that's what I go back to say. We have never been in this place before. This franchise has never been on this platform. We've never had this popularity.
Right.
And I should have mentioned Taylor Swift. That in the point of the culmination of all this coming together right now is what creates that responsibility piece.
Yep.
We got to take advantage of this. If we don't do this right now, we're going to be looking back 20 years from now, kicking ourselves.
Right.
What? That platform it never existed again in sports. But the opposite is true. We're going to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, and you almost have to at this point in time. And you're right, the responsibility is there because it may never come around again, right?
Yep.
No other franchise may ever experience what we're experiencing right now in Kansas City, which leads me to the stadium conversation that I know you're tired of. I know I'm tired of it. I know the city, everybody's tired of talking about the stadium stuff. But it's a real issue. You guys recently, had the survey of the fans and everything. What's the latest that you can tell us about, Arrowhead and the stadium stuff?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank all our fans. We had hundreds of thousands of surveys out with CSL. They do this for just about every major stadium project over the last 10 years. And we have a lot of quantitative and qualitative information coming in. The amount of data is crazy. If anybody who took the survey knows there were a ton of questions, right?
Yep.
And we'll take that all back and we'll look at what's feasible and what's most popular, things like that. I think that we haven't gone through all the data yet. They're still crunching the numbers. But I did ask the CSL people, like, give me your top couple points. What came out of it? And the first two were we chuckled at, because it's almost like it gave us confidence, but it also was like, I hope our fans realize that we're fans too.
Yep.
Because the biggest takeaways, they said, were, number one, whatever you do, and it was equal. Like, they didn't care if it was a new building or if it was renovated Arrowhead, but it has to be loud.
Yes.
Right? Like,
that's the number one thing.
It's like, got it. Yeah, whatever we do is going to be really loud. Trust me, we understand that. And then the second one was almost as obvious. Like, whatever you do, new build or renovate, it's got to have a massive tailgating opportunity. It's got to be the best tailgating ever.
Right.
Like, got that too. Like, trust me when I say this. No matter what we decide, it will have massive opportunities for tailgating and even better opportunities for tailgating, and it will be loud. It'll either be loud in the form of a renovated Arrowhead, or it'll be loud in the form of designing a stadium that is intended to be loud.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, though. Fans are like, we don't care if it's new or renovated. We just want tailgating and it to be loud.
Yeah, and that's sort of the subtle point behind it, too.
Yeah.
Is that the surveys came back, and it's like, there isn't like a 80% this way and 20% this way. And a lot of people took both surveys.
Right.
And they got it. Like, they understood, like, these are two really good options. Let's go figure out the best way to do that. To answer your question, we've made a lot of progress. I know our fans are probably a little tired of hearing me say that, but the reality is this is a long, complex process. We're talking to two different states. We're talking to two different structures. The way that the political situation works in Kansas is different than the way it works in Jackson County and in Missouri. We've had meetings recently with the county. We're going to go down and see the folks in Jeff City next week. We've had a bunch of conversations with the folks in Topeka. And we got some sites picked out that make sense for a new build. We got obviously renovated opportunities and some things we've tweaked with the design on a renovation that makes sense. So it's going to come down to, as we've known this all along, it's going to come down to what makes the most sense and then what gives us the best opportunity for our fans going forward.
Where are those sites for a new build, if you can?
Yeah, I would just tell you that people won't be surprised by the new site.
Okay.
And with that, we let team president of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mark Donovan, get on his way. You're a busy man. You're a kind man. We appreciate the
Thanks,
time,
Dusty.
sir. Thank you very
Man.
much.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Mark.
That is
Appreciate
Mark
it.
Donovan of the Kansas City Chiefs, as we are always brought to you by Academy Sports with guests when it comes to that. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City is gearing up for their third straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team. From Kansas City, we go to Dallas. We go to, I believe his name is Darren Woodson, former safety. We asked Darren, when is it time to hang it up? Man,
that was one of our best interviews of the week. I
he
think.
was great.
Darren was so good, and like I don't want to say I fell in love with him, but I did. Like I was like I wish I had a Hall of Fame vote because that guy does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He did not get in last night. Jared Allen, Eric Allen got in. Somebody else got in. Sterling Sharp, and there's a fourth person, and I'm drawing a blank over who is the fourth person to get in. But
Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates. That's right.
Man.
Exactly. Antonio Gates, one of the great tight ends. I forgot
Did
about.
You know he played basketball too.
I do. I heard that. You know who else played basketball?
Tony Gonzalez
played basketball as well. Yeah, I heard that.
Did you know Julius Peppers played basketball?
I did know that.
Did you know Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard?
Was this in the news?
Did you know Laurent Duvernay-Tardif was a doctor?
Yeah.
What's the overtold story on this Chiefs team? Taylor Swift dates Travis Kelce. I think that's probably the overtold story of this year's Chiefs team, because every other Chiefs game, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the announcers would act like nobody's hurt. He's a Canadian doctor and all this kind of stuff. The doctor is in.
Do you know Andy Reid used to punt the ball when he was like 14, but it was actually 8?
Punt, pass, and kick. Yeah, Andy Ryan at the time was spelled.
Did you know Clark Hunt's dad actually owned the team first?
He did, yes. They used to be the Dallas Texans. Didn't we have some nitwit tell us yesterday he expects the team to move back to Dallas?
Yes.
Where did that take place? Was that at the bar
That
last
might have been.
night?
I think that was at the bar.
That's right. Some guy told us he expects the Chiefs to, because of their stadium issues, to end up moving back to Dallas. That's what it was. Chiefs have stadium issues. They're moving back to Dallas. No, I don't think that they are. And clearly, we just had the president on. There's no stadium issues. They got plenty of options.
Chiefs president.
Yes, that's
Chiefs
right.
president.
Chiefs president Mark Donovan.
Because that other president will be
He
in
will
town,
be.
so you kind of have to. I mean, it's weird. You have to be honest.
What would you do if the president was walking Radio Row? How awesome would that be, right?
I would go up to him and give him my impersonation, and I would probably get a handshake and a thumbs up. And then I'd go wash my hands. Anyways, on the other side, we'll get to our cover two. Again, that'll be brought to you by Low and Slow, the first ever barbecue smoked potato chip and cheese puffs.
Samaje Perine at the 30. First down. And
It's all good. You weren't on the air.
I love you, Samaje Perine. I remember when Brett Veach told me they picked him up. It's a gain of 18 yards. I poured water on my head. A great pickup by Brett Veach to get Samaje Perine. And the Kansas City Chiefs are going to pull this off. Perine comes up big on a 17-yard completion.
There you go. I love Samaje Perine is the best part of that. And
I think I'm going to pour water on my head was my favorite part. I didn't hear that one in the past. Great stuff from Mitch Holthus there on 96.5 The Fan with the Samaje Perine ice in that game, and that's got us to where we are, and that's Super Bowl Sunday, baby.
That's right. And if you would like to know where you can find all of that action on Super Bowl Sunday, look no further than 96.5 The Fan, because the big game will be on this station. They will cover it here on 96.5 The Fan, and it is brought to you by Community America Credit Union, member-owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. Let's get into our cover, too, because there's not a whole lot to cover the rest of the season. Normally we would do this at the season. For everybody that listened, thank you very much. For everybody that's been a part of the cover, too, or what maybe you would cover, which might be, I'm going to watch Washington because they got a really good rookie quarterback, but I'm also going to watch what Kevin O'Connell can do this week. This week, it's the cover 2 of the Super Bowl, Bob. And I don't know what you're covering, but I'm interested to know what 2 things you'll be covering this weekend of the Super Bowl.
Well, to me, it's pretty simple. It comes down to, I think, 2 players in this football game. It comes down to Patrick Mahomes, and it comes down to Saquon Barkley. Those are the 2 guys that I'm going to be covering. Pat Mahomes goes out there and does his thing like he normally does in big games, leading his team to victory. That's what I'm going to be watching out of him. And then I'm going to be watching Saquon Barkley because he is the key. He is the guy that the Eagles have to count on to win their games. And if neither of those guys play big, it's going to be interesting to see who steps it up. But I think both of those guys are going to be the keys to their team coming away with a win on Super Bowl Sunday. It's Patrick Mahomes and it's Saquon Barkley. And then, quite frankly, it's everybody else.
Yeah, my cover 2 this weekend starts with the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles versus the defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. Minihue, Chris Jones, Karlaftis, all those guys that they, shuffle in and shuffle out. That offensive line, I still believe, I don't care what people say, yeah, they've had rest, yeah, they've done this. It's still a little beat up, it's still a little bruised, and you have a Chiefs defensive line that is not. There is no narrative to that. Yeah, Chris Jones a couple weeks ago had a sore calf or whatever it may be. Yeah, the guy's ready to go. The guy hadn't had that problem for the last 3.5 weeks. That is no longer an issue.
Yeah, I haven't even heard that,
That offense, well, I mean, it was,
No, but I'm saying, like, recently, I totally forgot about it is what I'm getting
at. That's exactly what it is. So, I mean, you look at, like, some sort of soft spot in this, I don't know, greatest roster of the NFL that is the narrative of the Philadelphia Eagles, that's your soft spot. That's the little spot in the Death Star that Luke was able to find and hit it and make it explode from the inside out. That's where you stop the Philadelphia Eagles. That's that spot. You get into that middle ground, you take away that offensive line, Saquon Barkley cannot be himself because he has not got that offensive line where that defensive line can break through. So there is a chance. The other thing that I'm covering, Pat Mahomes. Man, go get your 3-peat. This is the ones for you. This is the title that you wanted. Since you won your back-to-back title, you were so just wanting this ring that you didn't even soak in the fact that you had won back-to-back, something that was brought down that you couldn't do because Tom Brady is the reason that you didn't get the first back-to-back. Now you have a chance to go get your 3-peat. I told Chris Jones with a child of yours in your arms with confetti raining down and your Mahomes fro that let's go get a 3rd one. It's never been done before. Let's go get a 3rd one. Didn't even let that one sink in. So I'm watching Patrick Mahomes and I'm hoping and I'm praying that we get that sort of competitive prick that he was once called in this game. You can have your roster. You can't have this quarterback and you can't have this kind of coach. So the 2 things I watch, Patrick Mahomes in greatness and legacy moment, Andy Reid in that defensive line against that offensive line of Nick Sirianni and the Eagles.
I mean, what's Mahomes going to say after this one, right? I mean, is he, all right, 4 in a row, no one's done it.
Well, yeah, that's what you have to do,
that's
right?
What he's going to do.
You just don't stop.
Exactly.
You just don't stop until it does stop, right? You just don't stop. So you keep going and go. You keep going and you keep going. Yeah, I mean, you win this one, and obviously you're saying, well, let's go for 4.
Let's keep going.
Who's going to tell you no? Travis is coming back. Mahomes is coming back. Reed's coming back. Joe, you got the core back.
Mac, what are you covering this weekend?
Xavier Worthy, rookie wide receiver. This is he's kind of catapulted as the number one weapon outside of Travis Kelce when they pass the ball. He's their target guy, and you know what? It hasn't been through that we've been just vying for a deep ball, right? These big plays, but it's actually been really the possession plays that he's been able to, good curl route, get a first down, make a man miss on a screen route, whatever it is, a jet sweep. If he can keep doing that, get 5-6 catches, get a couple of first downs, just be that other fail-safe for Patrick Mahomes, that's what I'm watching. A rookie wide receiver, second year in a row that the Chiefs have had a guy who starts off a little slow, finds his way, and by the Super Bowl, by the playoffs, is one of the most impactful players on the team. I'm looking for that from Xavier Worthy.
I mean, that's just what we see in Kansas City.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the way it works. You start out kind of slow, and then
figure it out.
Boom, we're going to count on you. We drafted you for a reason, right? We've got you here for a reason. We can count on you to get the job done, and that's what they're doing with Xavier Worthy. He's become arguably outside of Travis Kelce, the most reliable, counted on, trusted wide receiver pass catcher we have.
And then Spagnuolo. They did NFL honors. They did NFL Hall of Fame stuff last night. And I know no assistant coaches are in the Hall of Fame, but again, not even a mention, not even his name written down or said anywhere. I mean, this guy is just Super Bowl City. I'm looking for that to be another little added piece of motivation for Spagnuolo, and this defense can be flying around.
When we come back, we're going to play Greg Olsen. And before we play that, because he sat down with us yesterday, so we want to let you hear what he had to say. But before we play that, when we come back, we're going to play you what this Philadelphia radio host did. He called local bars. If you've missed it, he called local bars in Kansas City saying, "Go Birds." We'll play you what they had to say as they defended their city like you all would, and we defend you guys here in New Orleans live on Radio Row. You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
High formation, the sausage. Been a Chief for 7 years. Handoff, Damian Williams trying to get to the edge. Breaks a tackle, 35, 30. Damian Williams, 20. Stays in bounds. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Kansas City. Damian Williams runs to immortality. Forever in the Chiefs.
And for having all those ready and geared up and ready to go. Guys, I don't know if you know this or not, we're under an hour until we wrap up our time.
I can't believe it's
Radio
9
Row.
o'clock already on Friday. Like, it's funny because the week does start out a little bit slow, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you realize it's over. The week is done, and we are here at the finish line, for us anyway, on Radio Row. But now the weekend just begins because now it's all about the pacing back and forth and pacing yourself and trying to get to the game. 5:30 on Sunday night. Let's go. Get here sooner.
So this was audio of a Philadelphia radio host calling Kansas City local bars and literally just trying.
Here, I just wanted to call and say, go Birds.
Go Birds. Fly away. Your birds' feathers are going down.
Dude, we're going to stomp you guys next week. It's going to be unprecedented.
You got a better chance of seeing God.
Patrick Mahomes is going to cry. Taylor Swift is going to leave in tears. She's going to end up taking off her Kansas City gear and revealing she's an Eagles fan. And all the people in your bar are going to go home sad. They're going to leave your little bar sad.
That's just like you Philly people talking shit behind the back, can't face a man face to face. Talk your shit over the air.
Go Birds!
The Eagles. Fuck the Eagles.
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great.
That is outstanding. Well done. Well done by that radio station. Well done by our bar owners in town, too.
Everybody.
That was great. My face hurts from laughing.
Oh, is that the first time you listened to it raw?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, like, I remember
really
sending it to you.
good.
It's
You
great. We are now joined by Greg Olsen. You know him from Fox. He's the color analyst there who got nipped for Tom Brady. He's better than Tom Brady's announcer, but that's okay. He is our guest now, and all our guests are brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Drink responsibly. Once again, we are now joined by Greg Olsen. And Greg, I gotta ask, man. You know, I don't know what I'm gonna ask you.
Greg, what do you think of Travis Kelce?
Yeah, he's pretty remarkable, and he's a guy that I've gotten to know.
You're clear.
Well, we're good friends. We see him and I alongside George Kittle. We do our tight end university together every summer, and so I've just gotten to really just get to know him personally, but also just get an idea of how his brain works and listen to his presentations in the classroom and on the field and the way he kind of teaches these young guys when we get them all in a room or out on the field and in Nashville every summer. It's not a mystery to why he's been able to be so successful, so productive for so long. And we can go round and round about, his route running and his understanding. I think the greatest compliment that I could pay him is in today's world to be able to play at this level for this long, but be out there every single week. I don't think people realize just how hard that is, right? Yeah. It'd be easy for him to, he gets banged up. All right, I'm going to sit this one out. He doesn't miss games. He's in there. He's productive. His regular season success, his postseason success, obviously the Super Bowls. I think when it's all said and done, and I get asked this question a lot, I never would have thought in a million years that anyone would ever pass Tony Gonzalez. And then Gronk entered the picture and might not have done it over the pure length of time of Tony Gonzalez or now, with Travis. But it doesn't look like Travis has any plans on hanging him up here anytime soon. And I think when it's all said and done, whether he's there now, he's pretty damn close. I think he's going to go down as the best guy to ever play the position. And it's hard to even believe that we'd even had that conversation years ago. I'd never imagined that anyone would ever be able to pass Tony.
I just get the goosebumps thinking about all that because it's not just Travis. I mean, we have an opportunity on Sunday to witness maybe the greatest quarterback ever, the greatest tight end ever, and maybe the greatest head coach ever, all on the same team. I mean, that's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence that success follows, right? I mean, you look at the formula they had in New England for so long. It's a similar, again, different style of players, different style of team, all of that is obviously a little bit different. But similar idea, and the two things that you need to win consistently in the NFL, if you are great at head coach and you are great at quarterback, yes, you want to be great at tight end and offensive line and defensive tackle and secondary, and all those people are extremely valuable, but no more so than the quarterback head coach relationship. Right. And the consistency that they've had, the continuity and that relationship between Mahomes and Andy Reid. That's the magic of all of this. And again, you could say, we can get into a million other topics, but it starts and ends with that. And that's what every team in the league is searching for. It's not easy to find. And once you find it, that's the magic of it all.
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. You're starting to pick games and look at who's going to win games. It starts with the head coach and quarterback. And to me, in my opinion, and yeah, I'm biased, but I don't give a rip. I don't know that there's ever been a better head coach quarterback combination from an offensive standpoint than we're watching right now with Mahomes and Reid.
Yeah, I mean, from an offensive standpoint, that would be an interesting conversation. I still think right now with Brady and Belichick to win he won 7 with them or 6 with them or whatever it was.
Right.
That's pretty. I mean, now again, they're going to have 4, so I mean they're getting up there. So if they win,
yeah.
So again, we're in that conversation. Offensively, it's probably an interesting conversation, right? You go back to like the Bill Walsh Montana relationship, and throughout the course of time, there's been some pretty good ones. Offensive coach, obviously in quarterback relationship. So, but yeah, they're certainly in that conversation, and it just feels like they might not be done. And again, whether they win or lose on Sunday, who knows? But it doesn't feel like this is even the end. It doesn't feel like, okay, this is the chance to get that one more Lombardi for Andy Reid or for Mahomes it feels like, yeah, I mean, do they want to win? Of course. But if they don't, I don't think that means that they still don't have a couple more in their future just because of the age and the future of the roster, and they're young on defense, and and it's pretty crazy to think about.
When you think about crazy stuff, you were in the league for a long time. You know how this works. Is it super impressive that they just keep continuing to fold over? Because 2 years ago in this game, only 7 players remain currently on the Chiefs roster from that game against Philadelphia, 2 of which are the long snapper and the field goal kicker. Impressive that they keep doing this. I know at 3 Peats, obviously you can do that, but how long they keep being dominant and number 1 in this league that is full of turnover.
Yeah, and I think they've really done a great job managing that turnover. And when you look at the Super Bowl run 2 years ago when they beat Philly, that year, the question around them was, could Mahomes and Andy Reid keep everything afloat with this huge influx of young defensive players? They went heavy defense. They were young, secondary. I think one point in the season when we called their game after Thanksgiving, I think they were starting 3 rookie defensive backs at the time. So it was young. Obviously, Chris Jones is the staple. And the question was, can they stay good enough on offense to allow this young defense and Spags to kind of find their way? And then last year, it kind of flipped. Last year, that young defense now was in the second year of development. And the offense took a little time to find their rhythm and who are the weapons other than Kelsey, and they can't score a lot of points, and what's happened to Mahomes and all that, and they win another Super Bowl. This year feels like a little bit more of a balance. It doesn't feel like it's an offensive-heavy-driven team at all, but it doesn't feel like it's just the defense like maybe it was, at times last year. So this feels like a little bit more of the balance they've been trying to work towards. But again, how do you weather that complete young defensive overhaul from 2 years ago? Because you have your quarterback and your head coach.
Right.
You have a little bit more margin for error for those young guys to figure it out. And then once they figure it out, to go along with what you already have, that's the magic of it all.
Yeah, and we're talking with Greg Olsen of Fox, and love you on TV, by the way, man. I think you're the best out there when it comes to an analyst role, and I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here, but I think you are fantastic. So everything you say, I'm like hanging on every word because it matters to me. But you look at Patrick Mahomes, too, and the way that he's been able to evolve as a quarterback and win different ways as well, right? You had the 50 and 5,000, then you have him handing it off, then you have him dumping it off. Like, that dude's evolved every year and won different ways every year, too. That's impressive.
Well, it's really the only way to survive and have long-term success in the NFL. There's no just one way to play. And every single team, every single year, the head coach, the front office, the quarterback, all the valuable pieces, it's their job to say, okay, what is the best formula for us to win this week, this season, this Super Bowl, whatever that the level is. And it could look very different from year in and year out. Just because you had a lot of success last year playing one style of play, doesn't that mean the next year is going to look the same, feel the same, sound the same? You might have the exact same players trying to do the exact same thing and get very different results. The ability to adapt, the ability to reinvent yourself on a week-to-week, year-to-year basis is the magic of it all. And again, you touched on it perfectly. The Tyreek days where they're throwing the ball over your head and it's just explosive chunk play after chunk play and they're just fireworks, looks very different than it does with all the quick game and getting the ball out of Mahomes' hand and getting a lot of run after catch. And it's not deep downfield shots. It's not throwing hail. It looks different. But again, it's the ability to have multiple paths to victory. And if the game is close, they've proven to be the best gotta-have-it moments, offense and defense, of any team in the league. And that's how you win 17 in a row in one score.
So let's talk about this game that will be played on Sunday in New Orleans. How do you see this one kind of going? What's your – I don't necessarily need a score prediction, but what's the flow of Greg Olsen when it comes to this game?
Yeah, again, I haven't studied it as deep as I would have if obviously, I was part of the broadcast and really trying to frame, okay, how do I present this to the audience clearly, fairly for both teams to kind of set the table. I think looking at it just high level of just knowing the teams, covering them throughout the years, and I hate to say this with you guys sitting here, I think if you just went position by position, just forget any intangibles, forget anything else, just went position by position, I think you can make an argument that Philadelphia has the better overall roster.
Yeah.
Right? I think offensively, defensively, offensive line, skill players, the defense is arguably number one, if not two in the league. So, you go position by position. Now, that doesn't mean Kansas City's not littered with great players. They are. I think Kansas City's special sauce, the magic that makes them so unique, is even though they don't have to win more plays than they lose, right? So in a normal matchup, it's very simple. If I win more plays than you, more times than not, I'm just going to win the game, right? My pluses are more than my minuses. But what's special about Kansas City is certain plays within the confines of a game are weighted differently. Not every play has the same impact weight that the others do. They win all of those. They win down in the low red zone. It's 3rd and 4 from the 4. They come away with a touchdown because they got the right play or the right 2-play sequence. They come away with 7 instead of 3. They got to have a big stop at the end of the game. They got the right dialed up pressure. The ball's on fringe red zone. It's 3rd and medium. Not only do they need to force 4th down, but they need a sack. Spags, he stresses your protection. He gives you a look. He's been waiting all day to run. And he gets a sack, loss, now you got a punt. It went from 3, maybe 7 to 0. They win those critical moments, which allows them to maybe not win every play, but they win the ones that matter when they matter most. And that's how you win one-score games 17 times in a row. It sounds like it's luck, and it's the officials, and it's all these different reasons. It's because they're really good, and they're really good when it matters the most, and that's what separates them from a lot of the other teams, and that's how you beat teams that maybe in a best of 7, they might not win. They might not win a best of 5 series, but it's the NFL. You only got to win once.
Yep.
And that's why they've proven to be such a tough beat.
I know you're tired. I know you've done a lot of these, but can you please go share that with every single radio station in this building of what you do? Because I just said today, I said, I'm so tired of talking about the Chiefs to people who aren't Chiefs fans because they just don't understand. It's so, the ref stuff, all this nonsensical stuff, it really is disrespectful to Andy Reid and his staff.
Yeah, and listen, I'm sure some of your fans probably don't like that 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. I thought the Bradbury hold was a little ticky-tack. And again, if the roles
all right,
were
we're done here.
No, and if the roles were reversed and it was whoever, I would have said the same thing. Like I mean this with all sincerity. Like I thought in that moment, do I think that they called that because it was Patrick Mahomes at quarterback and the Kansas City Chiefs with the ball? I don't. I think it had zero to do with the call. They saw the grab. They thought he restricted. We can debate whether or not it led to the incomplete or not, and they got a fresh set of downs, and they end up rolling it out, kick the field goal, and there's not enough time left. In the booth, in that moment, the football fans of the world, I think we're rooting for them to kick that field goal on 4th down, give the ball back to Jalen Hurts, and go down there and see if we can have history. Do they win? Do they kick a field goal? Do we go to overtime? That's a little of the mindset at the moment. But I could not agree with you more. There is no conspiracy for the Chiefs to win. They are not colluding as officials to give them all the calls. You know why they don't commit as many penalties? Because they're really well coached. You know why in the playoffs their holding calls are down or their pre-snap penalties? They don't commit pre-snap. They don't commit post-snap, meaning like after the whistle late hits. And they don't do the self-inflicted. That's the sign of really well-coached teams, really mature teams, experienced teams that are used to playing at these high-level moments. At the moment,
All right, guys, 10 seconds.
overwhelm them, and you don't see guys' heads fall off. That's not by accident. That's not the NFL. That's just good players and good teams don't do that stuff in critical moments. That's Kansas City.
And that was Greg Olsen, who joins us, who is the color commentator on Fox, who's now on their second team because Tom Brady took his job, and I hate that because I think he's really good at what he does.
He's so good at what he does.
And all our guests are brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City is gearing up for their 3rd straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. Speaking of their team, that team, the Chiefs team, the guy that reports on that team, Matt McMillan, joins us on the other side here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Jalen Hurts, he ain't no good.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty, live from New Orleans at Radio Row, brought to you by Bud Light, the official
all the Chiefs content you want here on 96.5 The Fan. I am going to F this up probably 3 times because now we're with Matt McMillan and I can't even say it. See, I told you. That's the bit. No, Mighty Mouse, man. Everybody's in everybody's house. How are you guys today? That's how I'm going to do it. Your nickname, your real name.
There it is. Matt McMillan and Mark McMillan.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Say that 3 times fast.
That was good.
Matt McMillan, Mark McMillan. Matt McMillan, Mark McMillan.
So,
hey, not
so
bad.
I'm OCMULLEN. How do you spell yours?
City, I'm IAN.
IAN.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But Kansas City people know me as Mighty Mouse.
That's right. Yeah, Mighty Mouse. I told the guys, I said, Mark McMillan reached out, and I said, Mighty Mouse. They're like, oh, Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Like, that's like one of the coolest nicknames of all time, isn't it?
It's pretty cool, man. It kind of just took off in Kansas City. And, you know, you see kids coming to the stadium dressed as Mighty Mouse. And, you know, Andre Rison was Spider-Man back then.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole cartoon character. So it just took off, man. So it's pretty cool. And still to be, you know, thought of back in Kansas City because so many great players came through that organization. But we had a special group of guys that we just couldn't get over that hump. But the fans really appreciate that 97 team. You know, we had a shot.
And this is the Roundtable in Radio Row or at Radio Row. It is brought to you by Kansas Lottery. Dream bigger. Matt McMillan, Mark McMillan, Mighty Mouse.
There you go.
There we go.
All the alliteration.
And then Mighty Mouse on top of it, too. All the M's. Yeah.
Get me ready, baby.
Matt,
I'll go through a damn wall, Mighty Mouse. Damn.
You've been
Call
here
me the
all
Trouser
week.
Mouse.
Matt McMillan, all week you've been here, man. Like, what's the sense that you're getting from just kind of being around all this? I feel like you and I are on the same page. Like, just get me to Sunday and let's play this thing, right?
Yeah, I think we're all ready. I think the team is ready. Really what's interesting is, of course, the guys are at practice all week, but the game plan was put in back in Kansas City. I mean, last week they were preparing as if the game was last Sunday. So this week's all about just kind of fine-tuning things, refining everything, and polishing the game plan. But I think there's a sense of readiness and of preparation and feeling ready for this moment. And that's all you can ask for. And the team is healthy, which is the best thing. I think it's the healthiest we've been all season long, and I'm with you. Let's just get to Sunday at this point.
Yeah, and for you, Mighty Mouse, like, you played for the Eagles, you played for the Chiefs. Like I'm surprised you're even here. Like, I'm just gonna stay home. I'm not watching this thing. I can't decide what to do.
Well, I'm actually not going to the game. I'm leaving out Sunday morning, going back to Phoenix, Arizona. So this is a matchup that happened a couple years ago in Glendale, and the Chiefs came out on top. And here we are again, same matchup. Same head coaches, same quarterbacks. So pretty much a lot of the same players that's on these teams, and it's going to be a great matchup, and hopefully we get an exciting game this time. There'll be no grass issues.
Yeah.
It's indoors, no weather, so two evenly matched teams in my opinion.
And so tell people why you're here, because I think what you're doing may be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "What are you going to? Are you going to the game?" I was like, "No, I am cooking at the Taste of the NFL." There's like, the Taste of the NFL, like the Taste of the NFL. I was like, yeah. So, it happened last year. I was signing autographs, and then, the Food Network stars, George Zimmer and some of the other guys reached out. It was like, why are you signing autographs? I was like, well, they got me here for appearance. They said, you should be with us cooking. It's like, you were on the show with Gordon and all that. And I was like, yeah. So they gave me a call and said, hey, we would like you to come down to New Orleans this year and cook for the Taste of the NFL. So, man, I am so excited. Partnered up with a master chef. His name is Daryl Schuler. He's the first African-American master chef in the world.
Oh, wow.
He's one of 70 in the whole world to be named a master chef. So we came up with a great collaboration. We're doing a barbecue brisket beignet.
Oh
my God.
Say less.
Like, is that going to have barbecue sauce on it or powdered sugar?
All that. Yes.
Oh,
yes. I got my own. Obviously, I got my own barbecue spice line and spices. So we used my spices on the brisket, and then we, kind of made a good little mixture with the barbecue sauce. So we'll put a little powdered sugar on it. Maybe if you want extra sauce, we have a squeeze bottle. Put a little extra sauce.
If it's not enough for you.
If it's not enough for you, there you go. So just a little twist off of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And when everybody's submitting their recipes and everything, and I was like gumbo. Etouffee.
Mm-hmm.
So me and we was like, how can we? I'm trying to go all out. I'm trying to be like the station where people be like, man, you got to go over there to Mark Station because they got something over there we never heard of, because nobody's never heard of it.
Yeah. And Matt, what are you cooking for the game? I'm kidding.
I've been on a
good luck.
I've been on a steady diet of Uncrustables in my room.
You fit right in with the Chiefs, man.
Chips, Cheez-Its. Although I had a great bouillabaisse the other day.
Oh,
that was
very
amazing.
nice.
And I had a seafood au gratin when I first got here.
Seafood au gratin?
Like cheesy potatoes with like shrimp and crab and
like
stuff.
a dog.
in there.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
know.
good. Mighty Mouse is like,
It was
hang
very
on.
good. So
Screw these guys.
Back up.
Seafood
au gratin. I've had my fair share, I'd say. but
that's great.
I get
Uncrustables,
excited when
too.
people start talking about food, man. I love talking about football. I love, covering
have no idea.
covering football. But when it comes to food now, man, as you know, we've been going back and forth for a couple of years. You're like, yo, man, you got to get your stuff in stores.
Right.
And now it's online. It's in, 4 Ace Hardware stores in Arizona, 4 Ace Hardware stores in Las Vegas. Restaurants use my stuff. So it's going pretty good, man. I'm excited. And the label is red, so everybody's like, is that Chiefs? I was like, no, it's Alabama. I don't want people in Philly to be like, we're not buying it because it's Chief red. No, it's Alabama.
High Tide. I don't know if you've seen that commercial. It's so funny.
Great,
I think
man.
it's Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. High Tide. No, let's talk about this game. Matt and Mark McMillan, Mike McMillan. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm kidding. Matt
You got to stop
McMillan
trying.
And Mark McMillan. Let's go with both of you. What is something that you are going to be dialed in that maybe not other people are dialed in on this game?
For me, special teams.
Okay.
And you look at the Chiefs, the way they've been winning games lately. It's been defense and then special teams. Field goals, block punts, block field goals, missed field goals. Philly has just been on a run lately that they've been missing field goals. Akers has been missing a lot of field goals, so it's going to be real critical for special teams to step up in this game. Everybody's going to be so focused on the 2 quarterbacks and the dynamic playmakers, but field position is important, man. And you've seen, especially in the playoff, you see how important field position is. They left a little bit too much time on the clock for Kansas City last time, and they go downfield and get points out of it. So it's going to be really important. Special teams is going to be big for this game.
I think I'd take it a step further as well into the turnover battle because Philly is plus 10 in the giveaway takeaway during the postseason.
That's nuts.
They don't have a single turnover, and they've forced 10 turnovers, and 2 of those on special teams on kickoffs in the Green Bay game and in the Washington game. And those are just backbreakers.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia this year had like 104 takeaway points, third most in the NFL. And they had 27 drives that began in opponent territory, second most to only Buffalo.
Yeah.
So Philly's really good, and we know they can control the game and run the ball with Saquon. You can't give them the ball at your own 35-yard line. And we've seen that throughout this postseason, especially in the Washington game.
Yep.
You know how many points they scored off turnovers in that game alone?
40?
28. Close.
Yeah.
28 points off turnovers. And through the postseason, 40% of their points overall have been off of takeaways. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Good news for the Chiefs is they've been excellent at avoiding turnovers during this postseason run.
Yeah, Mark, from a former player's perspective, when you get a turnover, what's that feeling like? How does that sway the game?
It's a big game changer, especially on the defensive end of the ball. It energizes the whole team. It energizes the stadium. Energizes the offensive guys because they get another opportunity to go out there. Can you imagine, like, when the Chiefs get a turnover, Pat is like, oh, you going to give me the ball again?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and these guys feed off of that because they know if you give 15 the ball back, he's going to make something happen. And it's almost like when we were playing against the Broncos back in the day when they had Elway. We knew if we turned the ball against Denver, eventually you don't want to think that as a player, but number 7 was going to make something happen. So you just got to, like say, you can't turn the ball over. Both of these teams are good at taking away the ball. I know Chandler Jones is going to be a big key for this game as well. He's a one-man wrecking crew. And the Eagles have a little bit of trouble at the offensive line position, a little hobbling. So we'll see how that matchup works in the up front. But like I said, these are so evenly matched teams. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. But Andy Reid, he's been there, done that. He calls the right plays at the right time, plays that you're like, oh, my God, where did they come with that from?
Right, yeah.
And they like the one in Glendale, how they picked up that play where the Eagles were playing, man coverage, but they wasn't traveling with the guys. And he's like, he saw that same coverage in like week 5. And they went back to week 5, and that they scored twice on that same play. They just flipped the formation. But people are like, oh, my gosh, like, no, he did his homework on different situations, time, and he just calls the plays at the right time. So, Big Red, man, he's unbelievable.
So, I do think there is a story that's not getting a lot of credit, which is the story of their receivers versus these corners. And I'm glad that you're with us today, as it is Matt McMillan and Mark McMillan. How you doing?
Nailed it.
But You look at a guy like Trent McDuffie, who's going to either get A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith. Pick your poison, whoever you want him to take away. I would assume most likely it'll be A.J. Brown more often than not because he's their wide receiver one. But their receivers are good. But maybe there's a little disrespect to Trent McDuffie and maybe like a Jaden Watson or not Jaden Watson, but the other corner.
Jalen Watson.
Jalen Watson.
You were close.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of disrespect there because when Watson came back, it was like, holy cow, this guy's back on this team for this run. That's huge.
Yeah.
And then now it's completely forgot about it. It's like, well, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. Well, Trent McDuffie, guys, probably the top 2 corner in the league.
This is going to be a great matchup. Like I said, on both sides of the ball, they really match up well. I would say the Chiefs will probably have a little bit of advantage because Slay, I like Slay, but he gives up a lot of big plays. So, we'll see how that fares off. Chiefs have so much speed. They got a world-class track team at their wide receiver position. But McDuffie is one of the best corners in the game, man. I like this kid. I've been following him since college days back at UW. I'm a huge fan of his. He's physical. He gets after it. He makes plays. So it's going to be a great matchup. If he's on A.J. Brown, it'd be great. Obviously, the slot position with, Devonta Smith, that's going to be like, I don't know who they're going to put in the slot because he's a problem in that slot. And, so Dallas Goedert been playing really good, a tight end position for the Eagles. So, man, it's going to be a great battle. The Eagles got 2 rookies in the secondary. Young Mitchell. So he's playing really well. Like he's,
damn it!
This kid from
he's good too.
Yeah, I'm just saying from Toledo. You're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason these teams combined are 29-5.
Yeah, so it'll be a great matchup. Like I said, as a defensive back, you gotta want this kind of matchup. And I'm sure McDuffie, he's guarded the best receivers the last couple of years. So
I believe it.
He wants that matchup. And as A.J. Brown, you want to go against their number one to see how good you are. So it's a game of hopefully the referees will let these guys play physical because these are 2 physical teams, and hopefully they won't be calling these phantom flags. And just let these guys play ball and get after it, man. It's a physical game.
Well, and I'm excited to watch Jalen Watson in this game. So Jalen was great a couple weeks ago against Buffalo.
Yeah.
He allowed 2 catches for 9 yards on 3 targets on 30
you gotta
coverage
be
snaps.
perfect.
Yeah, and I think it's still pretty good. Yeah. But all those videos he was putting out.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome. All those videos he was putting out with him training and showing like, hey, I'm going to come back. Because I think everyone kind of wrote off the fact like, hey, I don't think Jalen Watson's coming back. And he was consistently saying, yes, I am. And now he's in this moment, in the Super Bowl, an opportunity to go win the Super Bowl again. I'm fired up for him because we all know how good Trent McDuffie is. The league knows how good Trent McDuffie is. But this is a great chance for Jalen Watson to go out there and say, I'm here too, and we'll see if he makes a couple plays.
You bring him up too. You bring up these injured guys. They're in saying that they can't come back. It's almost like what they're saying about the Chiefs defense. They can't stop Saquon Barkley. I think that means they will stop Saquon Barkley.
Anybody, Spags, you can't put anything. You give Spags 2 weeks. He's just that kind of guy that's going to dial up some blitzes. He's going to put these guys on the island, and they're going to be challenged. So they're going to be forced to make some plays. And you look at Brandon Graham for the Eagles. The guy tore his tricep, during the season. Now he's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. It is unbelievable for these doctors and for these players to bounce back like that. But the good thing, like you said, everybody's healthy. So you're going to get everybody's best. There's going to be no excuses. It's going to be number 1, number 15. Let these guys just battle it out on the field. And, 2 competitive quarterbacks. I'm sure Jalen's a little salty because, 15's got a couple. He won the last one on their head-to-head matchup. But, Chief Kingdom they're turning into like the underdog. People are pissed off.
Good.
That all of a sudden people like the Eagles, and people never like the Eagles. Now all of a sudden everybody like, oh, the Chiefs, they win too much. Like, well, you got to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. You got to stop. I'm not going to be mad at the team because they're winning.
Well, I just love what Travis Kelce said at opening night. He's like, people hate the Chiefs? I didn't know that. I love it. I mean, for all of us that have been around in Kansas City, and this too, Mark, that for the Chiefs to be this team and everyone's like, God, they win too much. It's like, man, what a time to be alive. It's too cool.
I wish I was on that. I wish I was on the other end of that. Like, hey, it's like when the Patriots win. Everybody hated the Patriots, right? It's like, you got to go beat them. You got to dethrone them. And right now, until somebody knocks the Chiefs off, they run the league, man.
Yeah, they do. And look, and it's not just locally. We were talking to Mark Donovan last hour, and he was talking about the growth internationally of the Chiefs brand and how big it is internationally. I mean, this is not just America's team, as Mark called it. It's the world's team right now.
And like I said, and they're buying into it. You got whether it's Taylor Swift, in the booth, or Kelly Clarkson. Now she's in the booth now. But like I said, they warrant everything that they get. They earned it.
Yeah.
No one gave this team or this organization anything. And you guys been around Kansas City sports longer than I have. We had some tough breaks. We couldn't get over that hump, and all of a sudden they got a guy that can get them over the hump and take them to heights that no one thought they can go to. And now everybody's like, they don't like the Chiefs. Like, why? If you go to Kansas City, the food is great. They tailgate really good. Like, it's a good atmosphere. Like, it's a good town. So, like I said, if they win this one, get a three-peat, I think Pat Riley gets a nice little endorsement because he
$180 million. I heard he's going to make.
So he's pulling for number 15.
30 seconds. Matt McMillan, what's this game going to be like on Sunday?
I think it's going to be electric. I think it's an incredible opportunity, and it's something that hopefully we never forget. Again, just growing up a Chiefs fan, and you guys know, being in Kansas City, we have a chance to watch our team make history, something that's never happened before in the history of the National Football League. That's pretty cool. Let's go win it.
Mark McMillan, 30 seconds. What's going on Sunday?
It's going to be a great atmosphere. Like I said, I know what I'll be doing. I'll be smoking some ribs. I'll be grilling some wings, and I'll just be nervous in front of the TV.
Send me
pulling
your
for
address.
And when I get to Arizona in March, I'm coming to your house.
Oh man, come on, man! I'll cook a nice little spread. But like I said, it'll be a great battle. I'm excited for the teams to get after it, but I'm more excited to be cooking at the taste of the NFL. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. Love that for you. Matt McMillan, Mark McMillan. Thanks for joining the show, guys.
Appreciate
that is
you
the
guys.
Roundtable. We appreciate it. Let's go have a game on Sunday, and that Roundtable is brought to you by Kansas Lottery. Dream bigger. We got a surprise guest for you coming up on the other side. I don't want to tell you who it is, but you know him very well. We'll have that for you on the other side of 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty.
I'm ready for Aspen
live
when
from
you
New
for us here at Radio Row. This is the final segment, so I'll break it to you. Max running around. We're supposed to be joined by John Gruden.
Right.
Let me tell you something, man. Supposed to join the show with us. I don't know where Mac's at. He's stressed the F out. He's been doing a great job this entire week. It goes undersaid. And not enough mentions, but Mac's been fantastic this
Yeah,
week,
he don't
so.
need to be stressing out over this. If John Gruden doesn't talk to us, it's his
Well,
loss.
it's probably also my fault because I go, well, we've got 5 minutes because it's 9:50. Cody and Gold come up. They're kicking us off. They got to get their show going. They got to give their takes. Cody's got to sing. Gold's got to bet. Drew's got to cry about Burrow not winning the MVP, but the comeback player of the year. So we got to get everybody else their opportunities. But, yeah, we were going to be joined, may still be joined by John Gruden. Z-Right ex-tarantula banana. You know, tarantulas, they live in bananas, Bob.
They do. We've seen some of those down here, no question.
Yeah.
Open some of those bananas.
You're like, whoa.
The hell's going on inside that thing?
What's that furry little guy? So maybe we'll get there with that. But this is you know, our opportunity here to let everything know that, you know, this is why we do this job. This is why you watch these sports. This is why you get involved. This is why you get invested. This is why when you raise your children, you say, hey, little man or little girl, here's what I did when I was a grown-up. I watched this team. I'm watching a three-peat. I know multiple people who have literally just bought a ticket to this game, no hotel, nothing, driving. They left yesterday. They're coming down just to be here, let alone go to the game, watch it, where they sleep. They don't know. They said they will improvise and work with it as they go on. And this is one of those special moments. This is a three-peat. This is in the same realm what is going to happen with excitement, nerves, and everything else that everybody that went to a Giants game in the early 2000s when Bonds was sitting at 72 or whatever the record that he did to break it. Mark hit 70. He had 70 home runs. Everybody was waiting to see if he could get to that record-breaking day. And when you were there and you saw it, it was euphoric. It was different. If the Chiefs do, in fact, go to this game and win this game, they will do something that no one else has ever done in the sport that runs the world, that is the NFL, and you will then crown yourself as, quite honestly, the greatest dynasty to ever do it, and you're the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, last week, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, I said that the Buffalo Bills game was the most significant, biggest game that we'd ever seen at Arrowhead Stadium. The magnitude of that game was as big as we could ever get. This one is the biggest game that the Kansas City Chiefs have ever played in the history of their franchise. There's never been a game bigger. There's never been a moment bigger. There's never been a bigger time for our city and a bigger time to be a Chiefs fan. And yeah, I'm starting to choke up a little bit because I know how important this is to so many people back in Kansas City that can't wait to see this team raise that banner. And this is going to be the sweetest championship that we've ever had. And it's the biggest game on the biggest stage with the greatest quarterback and the greatest head coach that we ever did see. These two guys are magical together. They've delivered on everything throughout their entire time together. In 7 years, they brought us the most magic, the most fun, the most joy that we've ever had as sports fans. And they're going to continue that, and they're going to keep it going. And so I want you to enjoy this moment because it's not going to happen ever again, most likely in our lifetimes, where we see a team win 3 straight Super Bowls, go to 3 straight Super Bowls. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the moment that Patrick Mahomes has been waiting for almost an entire year. This is the moment that Andy Reid has been waiting for. This is the moment that the Kansas City Chiefs separate themselves from everybody else that's ever been involved in the National Football League. Let's go do this on Sunday.
Really excited, man. I mean, I get it. Like, this week is such, and this is my first time at Radio Row or covering a Super Bowl, and a lot of what you said was true. Like, you're going to get down here. It's going to feel like a whirlwind. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of stuff. And then, oh, by the way, there's a gigantic game that gets played on Sunday. Again, in this stadium, you will have Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, a Super Bowl game, Taylor Swift, Bradley Cooper, the President of the United States. You will have so many celebrities and stars coming to this game to watch what this is. And it's more than this year, is more than a Super Bowl. This is history. This is historic when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. You have a fan base that wants to beat you so that you don't do what history is against their team. Also parlay it, you're playing a team who gave up on this coach that can make history with another team while doing it against you. You have a fan base that is rotten and evil and mean. You have a fan base on the other side that is, been heartbroken, that is all invested in this team that goes out and does all these things, and the Kansas City Chiefs, they can be mean, but they ain't Philly mean.
Yeah.
So this will be one of the best for the books. It'll be one of the best games I think we've ever seen. I do hope it goes the way that my script was. It probably won't because I'm always wrong, but I hope this is like a 34-19, but I can see this game being
last-second field goal.
28-28. Is it Butker? Is it Elliott? I trust Butker to make that kick. I'm not so sure I trust Elliott
And
to make
I don't
that
think
kick.
anybody in Philadelphia trusts Elliott to make that kick at this point in time. But, it's not only the biggest game in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the biggest Super Bowl and the most historic Super Bowl of all time as well. It is the largest game that the NFL has ever put on. It's the most significant game that the NFL has ever put on. And it's the most historic game that the NFL has ever put on. Let's be on the right side of history.
Boys, thank you for showing me a great time during this week. Let's go have fun this week in Kansas City. Thanks for listening to us. We appreciate you so much. We tried to give you the best we could. I think we did a pretty damn good job. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to Mac. Without those two guys, none of this happens.
Shout out to Carlos, our video guy as well.
Awesome.
Shout out to
Carlos.
Way to go, Carlos.
It was nice meeting you, Carlos.
Yes.
Hey, go do something nice for somebody. You never know. It can change their day, week, month, or year. It's simply cool to care. Kansas City. Stay safe. Stay kind. Cody Golden Drew from 10 to 2. Go Chiefs.